Speaking of drawings, I'll have to show you guys some shit I have in the works
Is it
after
the
this,
dicks?
but it's top secret
the
for now.
dick
So
pictures we were
Croc
talking
dicks?
about?
Is it
croc dicks?
I
Is
just
that
had-
happening?
I
Yeah.
just drew pictures of your dicks. Yeah.
Oh. Well,
There's a lot of questions I have.
so much for my OnlyFans career. Thanks a lot.
Well, I thought we could just dovetail that into the show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The room went suddenly quiet as soon as she said that.
That was a very I just bombed on stage moment there.
I'm uncomfortable.
So anyway, back.
Well, welcome back to the show. We are the Geek Battalion vets. I don't know if you heard, but we're a couple veterans and a first responder. Is that what you're going with, or are you just
No, I
throwing
don't give a
out?
shit.
You're just
I'm
throwing
a-
your
I'm a
shingle out
cop.
there. He's a cop.
I don't
Cop.
want to be
Leader of
mistaken
Cola?
for a firefighter.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
All of our Twitter stuff, you're putting or Twitter and Instagram, you're putting first responders.
well, I'm trying to be nice.
He's
to
a
the
liar.
internet. I'm trying to be nice to the internet. Nobody likes the police on the internet. So
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think they like them anywhere,
well,
do
no,
they? Okay,
but
all right.
especially the internet.
That's
yeah.
true.
Keyboard warriors
Internet
and
is
such.
just fraught with ACAB.
Oh my God. But yeah, so we are the Geek Battalion vets. With me, as always, are my forever battle buddies of Jimmy.
Hey.
I'm B, and this is...
Duncan.
Yeah. Okay, we talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, video games, and, probably farts, boobs. I don't know, that's probably in there too somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Crocdicks.com.
Crocdicks.com. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so do we waste any time? Do we just dive into
Yeah, let's get into it.
a little portion of the show we like to call the sit rep? It's crocdicks.com, isn't it? That's what it is now.
Did you learn Morse code?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, totally did.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It literally is crocdicks.com.
Was it seriously?
Going from not knowing it was Morse code to decoding it in a beat.
Yeah.
I was in Boy Scouts, I'm just saying,
Wow.
I was in Boy Scouts too, and I remember there was this time where I had to decode Morse code. I didn't know jack about shit, so I made some shit up.
I would have felt really bad if that was the last message that submarine set up.
God.
I would've gone,
Oh, shit.
too
I
soon?
almost
Too
put
soon?
a moratorium on that before we started this episode. But
Oh God! Yep. Well, I'll see you in hell.
we got it out. We got it out.
We're already imploding,
But
just like them.
So the sit rep for new listeners, if there are any out there, is where we kind of talk about what we've been up to. We give you a sit rep on what we're into and what we've been watching, reading, whatever.
and we do our best to pretend like we're some kind of accurate news source from time to time.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes
yeah.
if something interesting happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little segment that I kind of came up with the last time of the famous Jimmy quote of
Yes.
rumored or possibly confirmed, or just rehashing our previous episode. We talked about Flashpoint a little while ago, and kind of got me thinking about all the different Batmans. And is Conroy the best?
Yes.
I
Anyway,
have a-
moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can argue that. I think he is.
I would argue that the animated Batman series, so Batman the Animated Series from the early 90s, with Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, that whole crew that created that, I would argue that and then the extension of that with the DC animated universe that goes into the Superman show and Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond,
And a bunch of movies and stuff
and
scattered
all that
throughout.
stuff is the definitive version of Batman outside of the comics. That would be my argument.
I think that's tough to beat. Jimmy?
I feel like we're trying to compare apples to oranges here because the animation comic stuff you can do so much more with. You have a lot more power and a lot more flexibility, whereas the live action stuff you're kind of constrained. So
Sure.
I think it's tough to compare. But I do agree. That is a great choice. But I think forever, my favorite will always be Keaton.
I don't disagree with Keaton being the man. I do enjoy him, but I don't know if you mentioned it. Maybe I missed it, but he also did the voice for some of the Arkham games.
Oh yes.
Yep. So I guess if I have to close my eyes and hear Batman's voice, I think I'm hearing Kevin Conroy.
I think that's the thing for me. Like I grew up on that show.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why I am a Batman fan. So that's why it's so near and dear to me.
But that was my biggest takeaway from the last episode that we have. Just I don't think, especially now that he's gone, we don't.
You're gonna have to get used to not hearing that voice anymore.
Or somebody's gonna have to really step up their game to take over for that. Not replace him.
I don't think it'll be a hard one to top.
Yeah. So, who wants to go first? Jimmy, you look like you're chomping at the bit over there.
Get it.
I still had my notes from my previous stuff.
Oh, we found this page.
Yeah. I did find the page. Yeah. Let's see. Big news here. What I've been into lately. I finished Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, baby, we're almost there.
Yeah,
I did hear yesterday 60 days until Ahsoka drops.
Yeah, it's like late August, I think.
Like the 23rd.
August 23rd.
Yeah.
I think is what they said.
So
thank God I got more time.
Yeah. Rebels, to be fair, it didn't grab me like Clone Wars did. Mm-hmm. Clone Wars, I liked the animation a little bit better. However, Filoni and Favreau, they both acknowledge that Rebels is a different animation style, and it allowed them to do things differently. And they actually had some constraints that going into Rebels. But it was great. I enjoyed it. Good. The character of Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger, really great characters, and it just added to the Star Wars lore and world. And I'm looking forward to Ahsoka being, favorably Rebels season 5. Even Filoni has described it, tentatively as season 5, but he went on to explain a little bit about it. But he's like, yeah, I could see it from that point of view that it could be, you could look at it as season 5, but it should be good. Next up, we're having a Twitter battle right now. It is we are Team GIF.
No, we're not. No, you're outnumbered.
GIF.
Oh. Man, I thought we'd save the battle royale to the end, but fuck it, let's go.
Wow, you guys are so wrong.
Who says that? No one says
GIF is
that.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
No, it's I can't even. The creator has even said that GIF is GIF.
Who's the creator?
He's doing that just to be a dick.
No,
he knows he's wrong.
It's because
why did he spell it with a G?
He also went on to say it's either way is correct. I saw the quote. So
okay, so I haven't seen that.
Get your GIF shit out of here.
However, it will always be GIF for me because that's how I grew up saying it. Trying to call it GIF just sounds weird.
You're just trying to shit in our cereal.
No. Anyway, you guys are wrong. It's GIF.
Okay.
Through.
He's going to edit it so that we both say GIF. So.
You said
bullshit.
GIF. You said GIF
No,
already.
I didn't.
So
I didn't say
we
it.
are Team GIF through
I'm
and
hard
through.
G for life.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning coming out on July 12th. Pretty soon. Looking forward to that. That should be pretty good.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not really excited about it. I don't really care, but I'll watch it.
I like the other ones, so
Yeah, they're fine. They're ridiculous, but they're fine. Yeah.
See, they're ridiculous in a way though that isn't. I don't want to say it's
Isn't
not
ridiculous.
over the top.
Yeah,
it is over the top.
It's definitely over
but
the
it's
top.
done well enough, and it's done like I've seen Tom Cruise talk about like he does it for the audience. Like he has a purpose for it. It's not to win awards or to what. It's like it's purposeful. It's thought out for the audience. Also, I saw a quote about all the big stunts that he like the most recent one where he drives the bike off the cliff and parachutes out of it. He's like, let's do that day one because if I die, then we didn't waste all this time on the movie. And he did it.
True.
He did it like
18, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 times the first day or something like that. He did it. Like just
But
ridiculous.
it was like a total of 18
Yeah.
takes or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
How much is that in motorcycles? Because they totally
They
fucked the
just let
motorcycle.
that's the best part. They just let the motorcycle just fall like
Wow.
thousands
I
feet to its
hope
fucking death.
there's some behind the scenes footage of just this pile of motorcycles
Oh,
at the
there's
bottom
gotta
of the
be.
just a
mountain.
bunch of
Yeah.
workers just dragging bits.
You know, there's some guy that just loves destruction. Like, yes.
Or
Yes.
some farmer just mowing a field and this wheel comes out of nowhere and just destroys him.
Can you imagine being the director and like I saw the behind the scenes footage of them doing the first jump, and he is like that's the tensest human being I've ever seen. The director when he's watching it,
Well,
it's
yeah.
just like
You
I
wanna
might
be the
kill
guy-
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you want to be that guy?
I might kill Tom Cruise here, and then he lands and. Cruise fucking like a G just lands on his feet like he's 60 some years old or 60 years
Yeah.
old, just lands on his feet from parachuting.
again!
And then his first thing he's like thanking the whole crew, and then he's like talking to, I think it's Christopher McQuarrie is his name, the director, I might be wrong, but he's talking to him on the phone and he's like, hey, that was great. I think I can just hold on to the bike though a little bit longer. So let's just run it again. Like immediately, he's just like, yeah, let's just do
He's
it
a
again.
fucking psycho. That's
Like,
why.
There's something wrong with that man, but in kind
Yeah.
of the best possible way, I think.
I will give the movies credit. It's they've always entertained me, so it's a better version of Fast and the Furious. Really, is what
times
it
a
is,
million.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would much rather sit down and watch all the Mission Possibles
Yeah,
rather
I
than
will
watch the
actually
Fast and Furious.
voluntarily rewatch
Yeah.
the Mission Impossible ones.
Because
Yeah.
it actually makes sense. I mean, why are suddenly now the street tuners into the fucking CIA and doing
Oh,
some
yeah. I
and
don't
weird
care.
ass like crazy Hot Wheels cars that are shooting missiles like that? There's no,
Yeah.
I don't get that. Mission Impossible. Okay, cool. Tom Cruise jumping a bike off of a cliff. Okay, that I could kind of see.
Well, it's,
I see that. Makes
the
sense.
story hasn't like wildly changed.
No.
He's a special
It's
agent. He's a super
Impossible
spy
Mission
from
Force.
beginning to
That's the whole
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of Fast and the Furious, though, there was this thing. I was talking about rewatching them. There was a company or a website that was paying. That was going to pay people to rewatch the entire series just to count how many times Dom Toretto or anybody says family in it. And our buddy who who is also
Yeah.
love-hate relationship with the Fast and the Furious, we were contemplating doing that. So, but
Oh, wow. More
I'm not
power
doing that.
to you. I'm not
No.
helping. So, anything else? That's it,
That's all I got for now.
Duncan.
See, I got a couple things. After Spider-Verse, I haven't been able to stop
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, no one can tell if you've paid attention to our social media because that's all
I'm
we
also
care about right now.
capitalizing on
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
It's very popular
But it's
on the
great.
internet right
It's
now.
great.
So
Go see it.
But so Marvel just recently released an omnibus of all the Spider-Verse comics, like everything. So I bought it on digital, and it's like 1,300 pages or something like that.
shit.
Like, and I'm probably less than 100 or 100 pages in, but it's pretty great so far. I'm really enjoying it, and there's a lot of similarities to Into the Spider-Verse so far. There's also a lot of differences. So far, it's worth a read. I've gotten to see like introductions to Spider-Punk and Noir and Peter Porker and Penny and a bunch of other random ones like Superior Spider-Man, who was Doc Ock when he took over Peter Parker's
Right.
body in the comics for a while, and then there's Miguel O'Hara's in it and all sorts of good stuff like that. So I've been reading that.
Now that you say that, I actually I have a handful of Spider Ham books from
yeah?
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig them up because I know they had. I know there was one. There's a famous Spider-Man issue where it's his face on the cover, and then like the border around is all the different heroes that he interacts with, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing, but it's all the animal
Right, yeah, it's
characters
from his
that
universe or
world.
whatever,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
I know I have that somewhere. I will have to dig it up, but
Yeah,
sorry.
he was definitely a character before the Spider-Verse stuff happened.
yeah.
So, and then I posted about this on our Instagram.
What is our Instagram?
Our social media, we have Twitter and Instagram, and you can find us on at Geek BN Vets. That's at Geek Bravo November Vets on both Twitter and the Instagrams. But quick shout out to everybody who's followed us because
Yeah,
we
thank
recently
you.
topped 100 followers.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
appreciate the love. So keep it up, spread the word. It helps us a lot. But back to what I was saying, I recently posted about it on there, but I watched the second Extraction movie.
Oh, damn. I forgot to watch that.
Yeah,
with
I
Chris
thought about
Hemsworth.
watching it today and last night, but we watched John Wick 4 instead.
Yeah, I think that was the right choice.
Probably a better choice. Yeah.
My one sentence review is go watch the first Extraction. So
Oh, damn it.
Wow.
it just didn't do it for me, man.
That's
First of
sad.
all, he doesn't beat up any children in it.
Yeah,
Not one.
I'm not interested.
Not one. And there's a
Yeah.
part where I was like, you should do it.
Yeah,
and
if
he
there
doesn't
isn't
do it.
That
gratuitous-
guy's on a tee for you.
Yeah,
He
gratuitous violence against kids. I'm not in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anakin's so disappointed. Just
Yeah.
like, ah.
Yeah,
You see his lightsaber just.
there's some highlights and there's some cool stuff, but ultimately, yeah, it's
It's
probably a skip.
I'm still probably going to watch it.
Okay, I'll say this. If you, I think we all do in this room, love just kind of like over the top, like 80s and 90s action movies, there is something about it that is reminiscent of those.
Right.
But it also tries to take itself really seriously, which a lot of those didn't necessarily have that
probably
same
shouldn't.
vibe.
Yeah.
That was just the way it was. It wasn't like we're really trying. So there is some value in that aspect of it, and plus there's dead bodies and stuff blowing up and stuff like that. But
Is Hemsworth still great, though?
Hemsworth is solid.
Okay.
Like his characterization of that guy of Tyler Rake is pretty great. Yeah, overall there's some cool moments in it without going into it and spoiling the whole thing. But real quick, get on a tangent. What
Yes.
do you think of John Wick 4, Jimmy?
I enjoyed it. With it still kind of fresh in the head here. I understand now your reference about how many times can a guy get hit by a car.
Yeah.
The answer is all of them.
All of the times,
Every
yes.
time.
I mean, I watched the whole John Wick series to take a break from reality. However, they do take some liberties with it. Like he gets just clobbered by a car and thrown into a van and just gets up.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking ruptured spleen, cracked ribs. You're basically
throwing
I
my
don't know if you
back
know
out,
this.
yawning in the shower. So
I
I
don't
don't
know this, but his suit is bulletproof.
Yeah,
So-
that
you got
part-
a Kevlar suit. Yeah,
they went too heavy on that.
Yeah, played
I
really hard
do,
into that.
I did like that concept in the second movie when they came
Yeah.
up with it.
Yeah,
but
it
it
was
has
cool.
just
Yeah.
become so
Yeah,
I don't like it.
ridiculous.
I don't like it in
It
this
is
one.
kind of taxing.
yeah.
because
Then everybody had it. And
It changed his tactics, and I didn't like that because
Right.
his tactics were no longer realistic anymore.
Yes.
Because he's like holding a freaking suit jacket over
Yeah.
his face and
Yep.
charging into a bunch of gunfire. Like that was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically invincible. Survives a 3-story fall. Into
I'm good with
into
that.
a-
I can
a
overlook
car.
that. Just
And
What do you
just
think of
gets up.
the top-down scene that we talked about?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I was
That was
looking forward to that
awesome.
scene. I love the dragon's breath in that. It really did kind of show tactics.
Yep.
Like how tactics can give you the advantage.
Yep.
So I did like that. I think overall, for me it's better than John Wick 3.
Okay.
I think 3 is probably the weakest out of the series. And the way they set it up, I think there could possibly be a John Wick 5. The way it was set up.
they're definitely making another one some
Although
way somehow.
His two anti-heroes in it, Kane, and then the guy that we really don't know the name, the French dude, not the Marquis, but the dude that keeps beating him up.
Or
The big tall dude with the he's bald.
like
Yeah.
the henchman of
Yeah.
the Grand Marquis,
Oh,
the Marquis
okay.
dude.
Yeah, that antagonist. And I felt it was played out. Like I felt like this dude, like John Wick, should have been able to kill the guy.
So I will say and this is kind of like a direct spoiler for the movie. So if you haven't seen it, this movie that came out several weeks ago, that's fine, but don't listen.
Whoops.
The scene where it's right after the top-down video game-esque scene,
Yeah.
and then the Mr. Nobody, the dude with the dog, shows up, and John has the drop on him.
Yeah.
But then he sees that henchman is about to kill that guy's dog, and John makes the decision to protect the dog.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just shoot that guy in the head. Like, the guy's totally distracted. He's
Right.
pointing a gun at the dog, not looking at John at all, and he shoots him like
The
from,
best
like,
marksman.
leg and just like yeah. he like runs the bullets up and he gets time to like put up his arm and do the whole shield with his bulletproof suit
Well,
thing.
that's because he had to throw him down the stairs like 7 more times.
Yeah,
afterwards.
like and that's a thing that comes up in Extraction that I put in my little quick review thing was like everyone is the best shot in the world in that until they're just suddenly not.
Yeah.
And sometimes that shit just really drives me nuts. Like,
Totally.
why didn't you just headshot that dude?
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. It was
Yes.
it was a choice between watching John Wick or Extraction 2, and we went with John Wick. And I think hearing this, I think we made the better choice.
I agree. I think you definitely made the right
Yeah.
decision.
It's
there.
long though. It's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
John
It's,
Wick.
it's definitely
very
long.
But again, you take out like maybe 15 less getting hit by a car and maybe not fall down the stairs 17 times less. There's still plenty of those in the movie if you take those out.
That whole scene of being around the Arc de Triomphe and the that roundabout. One car stops in a roundabout, it's fucking haywire.
Yeah.
There's multiple cars getting stopped on
There's
multiple
also
lanes.
like 17 lanes
I
on
was
that
gonna say
thing
it's,
too. I'm like, how does that even work?
I've never been to France, but that doesn't seem like that's how it
even a
works.
single lane roundabout, somebody stops, it's fucking haywire.
Yeah.
No. So that was absolutely unrealistic. But again, I don't watch it for the realism, but it's sometimes hard to
some stuff takes you out of it.
Yeah.
But Donnie Yen was the shit in that movie. Like the whole Daredevil thing. I thought he was badass.
Nah, I couldn't get behind the blind
No?
dude. Nah,
I love Donnie
He's
Yen.
his character from Rogue One. Like, why is he always blind?
I love that
I
character.
don't know.
Trent Imwe. I love it. Love it.
All right, so that's that. But
Yeah.
let's. The other thing is Secret Invasion has started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
So
I forgot to write that down.
watch the first episode of that.
I am so lost. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I that's kind of the struggle with Marvel these days. If you haven't kept up, then pretty easy to lose yourself in it. But
That's literally my note. What is going on? I'm so lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick Fury hasn't.
Spoilers, by the way. We're going to ruin this
we're going
for
to
you.
spoil this episode. So if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen other Marvel stuff, like I'm tired of giving spoiler warnings for movies that are like 10 years old or even a year old. But here it is. So Nick Fury has not been on Earth for presumably years and years.
Yeah,
at
how
this
long
point.
we don't know.
We don't know exactly
he
for
just
sure.
apparently did
when-
get dusted
when he
did
left.
Get blipped.
I think that's probably the last time.
Probably.
I would,
So
and maybe
Stark's funeral, maybe.
I was gonna say maybe there's already canon for this and it's been discussed, but I would guess Stark's funeral is the last time that he was on Earth, and then he went to go be the kind of the front line of galactic defense because he sees that as the future for protecting Earth. But so his whole presence on Earth has actually been a Skrull impersonating him, which is Talos or Ben Mendelsohn's character. And Maria Hill has also had a Skrull impersonator who we see at the end of is it Far From Home? Is that where we see him?
Yes.
Yeah, the Spider-Man Far From Home.
I think that's where we find out that Fury's not actually.
Yeah, Fury's not Fury.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then the conceptually, this whole series is just supposed to be about figuring out what the Skrulls are up to on Earth, and who can you trust?
Apparently
and,
trying to take over Earth.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're trying
At
to
least
get the humans to kill each other.
Yeah, at
That's
least
what
the
they're
bad
trying.
Skrulls are.
With Daenerys Targaryen, who is surprisingly clothed.
Yes.
Yeah, my wife made a
Don't
comment.
foresee that she's gonna change that up either.
Yeah, for a Marvel show, I would guess she's going to be fully clothed. So, I thought the first episode was, I think you described it being like a slow burn, and I thought it was a good setup for we really don't know who to trust. Like, and the whole thing has been kind of billed as like Nick Fury has to do this on his own sort of thing, but in that I thought, okay, Nick Fury's kind of going to be our viewpoint character that we're going to live the show through. But even that, they make us question a little bit in terms of like, fuck, we can't even trust when we see Samuel L. Jackson on the screen.
Right.
So
Yep. No, you're right.
That was great at the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Like I was like, fuck yeah. So that was pretty good. I did enjoy that. Yeah.
I dug the shit out of it. I thought it was awesome. Very, very slow burn, but I've come to the realization that like maybe some of the best like spy thrillers are that way.
Oh, yeah,
because if you
absolutely.
take something like Mission Impossible movie where it just gets tiresome with how many twists they have to have. Like, well, that's not really me because I'm me, and
Right.
that's other guy's actually me. Like,
Oh yeah,
like,
there were those twists in the
there's
Mission
just too
Impossible,
many
yeah.
of those, but it's action packed. But like they're everything has to one up it. Whereas like these like Andor and
Yeah.
you know the Americans. If you ever watch
Yep.
that, like they take a long time to build that story, but they're weaving all these layers in, and I really enjoy that. And they only have 6 episodes.
See, that's
to
my
do
only
it,
thought there.
So I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they can build a good storyline that isn't just kind of like Shyamalan twists.
Yeah. But to give
yeah.
Marvel credit,
In
it
6
was a
episodes.
full like 55 minutes or something like that.
That's true. It was a good
yeah.
length
It was
intro.
close
episode.
to an hour.
Hopefully, we get
so-
some consistency out of that.
Yeah, I thought they said that they were going to release the first 2 together, but clearly
I
they
don't know.
did not. So, but I love it. All the characters in it. The acting is phenomenal. The
Yeah.
cast is so good. Looking forward to what that has in store for us, and we'll see. But
just a brief question on: do you think this will be the end of Nick Fury?
I
Just
don't
based on
think so.
Samuel L. Jackson being like, obviously he's going to appear in the Marvels, like he's in the
Right.
trailer for that, but we don't necessarily know when that takes place.
Right. So his original contract was like a 10 movie deal.
Yeah,
But he said, and again, every time I say this, something comes out the week after that
Yeah.
like totally discounts it. But he's said in a bunch of interviews that he is Nick Fury and he will be Nick Fury for life. So
Yeah. but he's
Yeah,
also
that was going to be my thing.
Yeah,
Is I don't think he's done playing Nick Fury.
No.
I
my
think
only,
he's going
my
to
only
play him
reason I
as long
ask
as
is
he can. Yeah.
I didn't realize it because he looks great, but he's 74.
yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Freaking
He's
Indiana
74.
Jones is 82.
I know,
though, so
and
like,
I'm not sure that's a good
Wow.
idea.
I don't think so either. And he's just getting introed into the MCU at that age. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true for
for Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Almost called him Han Solo, but
That's fine. That's fine.
But I also don't foresee him being in the MCU for much longer.
No.
So,
Probably not.
but yeah, I mean, Nick Fury was, let's see, he was 62 or something, or 63.
I'll let you do math. It was 2008 when Iron Man
Oh,
came
I guess
out.
that's
so-
true. I was thinking in the Avengers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like he was in his 60s when pretty much all this started, basically.
Right.
It's just wild.
So that's fine. It was his midlife crisis. He's going to live to be 120 and
Oh, okay.
it'll be fine.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see where it goes. This is
Yeah.
the bottom line, I guess, on
Can't
that.
wait.
So I kind of hope, I want to see if we get any sort of cameos or special guest appearance. I'd like to see Bucky at
Yeah,
some point. I
I'd
don't know how
love
they'd
to
work
see
it in,
that.
but I just love Bucky and Sebastian Stan. So
Yeah.
if they can work that in just because of the spy aspect of things.
I'm worried there's not going to be enough of him in the new Captain America. I think he's going to be more in the Thunderbolts than that. But I really don't. I like Anthony Mackie. I just don't know if Sam Wilson, the character as Captain America, is strong enough to carry that
Yeah.
on his own yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But
I
that
could-
and I just want more.
I could see him playing a decent role in the fourth Captain America, but something happening where it kind of sets him up into an antagonist, and
Yeah.
that's why he goes to the Thunderbolts, and then him and Anthony Mackie are at head, like at heads,
Yeah.
at odds. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
odds.
definitely not.
They're not giving head,
not
but
head.
And that's our one
That's
for the,
the
day.
one.
Damn it.
That's the one.
You better make it count.
Yeah.
that's pretty much everything I've been working on.
Nice.
So
It's fun.
yeah,
Well, I just got back from vacation, so I went out to, I'd like to say sunny San Diego, but it was friggin' not the whole time I was there. I think it was 2 days that it was above 70 degrees. So
That
I
sounds
think you're just a
terrible.
wimp. 70 degrees sounds.
oh no, it was
Beautiful.
wonderful weather, but I did not pack for that. So, just the rollerblades and the butt thong is all I brought with me.
Oh,
so
right, yeah.
Had to go invest in a hoodie in San Diego. Wasn't prepared for that,
Probably
but
$75 too.
actually it wasn't that bad. I think
No?
I
Okay.
found a decent price for
You know,
them, but
you know where you can find great hoodies?
I do.
yeah.
Where?
I think it's this place called Threadless.com.
Oh,
Is that what
yeah.
it
So
is?
we have some pretty cool merch. It's at geekbattalionvets.threadless.com. Two of the three hosts tonight are wearing
all
it.
three of us. This is the newest one I haven't told you about.
I don't
you're
think we
releasing
have-
this one.
We don't have a Tupac endorsement.
Oh,
His estate hasn't endorsed us, but
that you know of.
but we've got some great designs there. We've got hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts,
Yeah, tanks.
tanks,
Long sleeve tanks.
Just
Yeah.
making.
I love the pause.
There
there.
you
That
go,
was
pause
great.
there. And we got a lot of designs.
But if you want
like-
a long sleeve tank, you let us know. And
yeah,
we'll see what
I'll
we can
figure
do.
it out.
Yeah, no, it's a tank, and then you just have like the arms.
Yeah,
that you
they're
put on.
basically leg warmers that you're on
Yeah.
your forearms. But we've got a bunch of designs, and honestly, probably too many designs.
But we're gonna still make
I'm still
more,
gonna
so,
keep making
yeah.
more because I
Hell
can't
yeah.
stop. So we've got some Mandalorian, some Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some other brand knockoffs and homages,
Inspirations.
So, yeah, homage. So check it out again. geekbattalionvets.threadless.com.
Yeah, and hit us up on the socials or our email address and send us some questions. And if you come up with something good, maybe Duncan will design a shirt just for you. But
Maybe
we'll see.
if it's
We'll
a good
see.
one, yeah.
Has to
Or
be
throw
good.
you a discount code or send you a sticker or something. If
maybe
it's-
you'll be the first owner of a Croc Dick shirt. Who knows?
maybe.
You never know.
I already have that designed. I just haven't dropped it.
But yeah, so
yeah. So B, what you got? What you got? What you
I was
into?
I was in San Diego for a little bit. It just happened to coincide with my 25th anniversary of arriving at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, which that was an
So old.
interesting experience. Yes, I am very old. Thank you. I didn't get to spend the time on the depot that I wanted to, but it was good. It went to the Midway, USS Midway. That was really cool.
Right. Yeah.
I've
Went
heard
to
that's pretty cool.
Went to Coronado Island, which I always wanted to go down there when I was stationed there, but never actually made it over there. And that was pretty cool. Went to the Comic-Con Museum. Sounded really cool. I mean, everything that was there was awesome. There just wasn't a lot there. They had some awesome covers of the different. They put out like a information packet every
Oh, yeah.
year, so they have like famous artists do
Do the covers.
like a magazine kind of thing. So there's a lot of cool artwork. There was some awesome cosplay displays from previous like winners. That was really cool. But other than that, they did not have a lot. So I was a little disappointed with the price tag for what they
Yeah.
had, but that was fine. I forgot to mention when we were plugging some other things earlier, but our friends at Grunt Style, if you haven't checked them out, they did help us out with slinging some of our stickers. So if you see those out in the brick and mortar stores, send us a message or something. But
Yeah.
check them out. It's a excellent veteran owned and operated clothing company. I mean,
Yeah, they've got some great designs and
Yeah.
cool shirts and stuff like that. Check them out on social media too.
yeah. So thanks to Kristen and her team at Grunt Style. But back to my stuff here. I am a little sad. I don't know how I ended up finding this the other day, but I read up on Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay.
Yeah, remember him? He's a WWF guy, but he was also a huge G.I. Joe character.
Yeah.
I found out he was never in the military.
Oh,
My whole life is a
Stolen
lie.
valor.
Yeah, I wanted to really just go hard in the paint on like this son of a bitch. We need to, yeah. But sadly, I keep telling myself he's just playing a character because, like, you know, Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson, they were never Marines either, but
Yeah.
they portray some of my favorite Marines
Sure, yeah.
in all of film history. So, but
Yeah. Mark Hamill isn't actually a Jedi.
what? Yes,
Sorry.
yes, he is. Shut up. He is. But no, what a kick in the dick, man. Like, he has this persona of like not just a Marine. He's got the drill instructor Smokey, and like he's the poster boy Marine.
I mean,
and then
I see
find out
what you're
he's-
saying. I mean, it'd be like
was pissed.
if Arlie Ermy came out and said, "Oh, I wasn't actually, a drill instructor."
Exactly.
Rest his soul. But
Do you need a hug
No, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
or a hand job?
Who am I to say no to that?
yeah, stick around.
Yeah, so we're
for
gonna
what
take a
that
break
means.
here for
Yeah.
a minute, and we're done. Okay. So that happened, and then to get over it, I started powering through the Indiana Jones series again because that movie's coming up, and
Yeah.
I'm excited, but also I went to the Flash, so my apprehension going into that movie, I totally disregarded, and maybe I should have listened to it. Just what I'm thinking. We'll talk about that another time if you actually want to hear about it. But
And it absolutely bombed. They were going to make a series or a movie or series with Keaton afterwards.
well,
and
they
because-
talked about making a Batman Beyond movie.
That's what it
with
was, yeah.
him.
Yes.
But that's
if
not
the movie
happening.
did well,
And that makes me wanna cry.
It did not. It
Yeah.
absolutely bombed. So no Batman Beyond movie with Keaton.
yeah.
And like I said, I could go on. I have nothing good to say about it, really. So I don't know if it's worth doing a whole episode on. But
I think it is if we get to it, but honestly, yeah, it's
it
not great.
just made me sad. So I'm worried about Indiana Jones. I hope it's good,
It probably won't be.
but I don't think it will be.
As we said at one of our previous episodes, it's probably going to be the best fourth
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Fourth
Fourth
best.
fourth
there.
best.
Yeah.
So I did listen to one of my other favorite podcasts, the Weekly Planet. They talked about the Indiana Jones movies and pointed out some trivia facts that I thought were great that I wasn't aware of. And in Raiders of the Lost Ark, apparently everybody on set had dysentery
Except Steven Spielberg.
except because he was eating SpaghettiOs.
yeah, he just brought
Yeah.
a bunch of SpaghettiOs to set and
But-
ate those only.
One of the most famous scenes in Harrison Ford's cinematic history is the sword and gunfight scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
He actually ad-libbed that because he was worried if he moved for a sword fight, he would shit himself. So he just shot the other guy. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
he's
that was
so tired and
hilarious.
exhausted from shitting
Yeah.
all day. He's just like, I'm done with this.
And then I didn't know that an alternate title for that movie should have been Indiana Jones and the Statutory Rape. Like that's
The stuff with Ravenwood's daughter.
So she's like supposed to be like 15 and he was like 30
they
when
say
they met.
canonically in the script she's 25 at the time of
Yes.
the action happening.
It's 10 years
and he
later.
mentions how they had an affair 10 years before that.
Yeah.
When she would have been 15.
That just.
But they also don't directly say
Yeah, they don't-
in the movie, I'm 25 and 10 years ago I was 15.
Yeah.
And in Indiana Jones, you're 47 or
But
something.
yeah, so I don't even know what to say about that. But watch the third one with my son, The Last Crusade, obviously, and I'll give the kid credit. He's much sharper than I am because he immediately knew that Dr. Elsa Schneider was bad. So I guess my weakness for the blondes isn't hereditary. He saw right through her bullshit and knew
Good for
she was
him.
trouble. So
Okay, so trivia about Raiders here. Do you know that there's a scene with C-3PO and R2-D2?
yes,
Okay, I didn't
it's
know.
just a hieroglyph in the background.
Oh, okay. I didn't
know that.
it's when in the snake pit. Yeah.
Also, if you're a fan of the Star Wars or Indiana Jones Lego games, there is a Easter egg where you can find some Indiana Jones stuff. I think him and his dad are in the
Chair?
fireplace, in the
Fireplace,
chair,
okay.
Wow,
in a
okay.
secret room thing, and then likewise in the Indiana Jones game, you build like a R2 and 3PO or something like that. So, but I'll close it out with saying that Harrison Ford was interviewed about the recent Indiana Jones movie, and someone asked him if he's going to be the Red Hulk in the new Captain America movie, and he claimed that he didn't know what the Red Hulk was. Is he lying? Yes, he's 100% lying. I believe that there's a chance that he had no idea. No, he definitely didn't know who the Red Hulk was before this movie. He knows. He may not actually portray him, but he might voice him. I think he does.
I don't know, man. I think there's a legitimate good chance that they're like, Harrison Ford doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't.
Like, do not look him in the eyes. He doesn't want to be asked anything about Han Solo or Indiana Jones. Just give him, like,
but I
his
think
coffee
he also,
and don't bother him. And he just comes and does his lines. He rips off his fake mustache that he may or may not have for the role of Thaddeus.
Yeah. I just think he also kind of enjoys destroying people's hopes and dreams when he's like, I don't give a fuck about this character.
Yeah, there's somebody asked him about a character, and he's like, I don't give a fuck.
It was about Han Solo, and he's like, I don't care.
There's also a red carpet interview at the premiere where they're like, if you had the Dial of Destiny from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, where would you use it, or how would you use it, and where would you go with it? And he just goes, home.
Wherever you are. I haven't
been home in a while. So, all right, man. I get it. You're 82. Like,
yeah, you don't care.
You're fucking grumpy, but
yeah. All right, well, that's the Saber Up. Again, a bunch of things that we talked about. Lots of things coming out. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We're back for the formation, and we're bringing back our installment of the Big Three, and to do so, we are calling back on one of our favorite guests, my hetero life mate, Tony.
Yes.
Back in here. This is a special.
Our first guest back.
That's true.
Back again.
Yes. This is a special moment for me. This is like a multiverse thing because I have like two versions of the same person in my life, except one of them
simplify us.
One of them's Puerto Rican, and
the other has hair.
The other one is very hairy.
Yeah, I was gonna say one is bald and one is not. Yeah, wow.
But yes, I love both of you guys. This is really cool. This is the first
Seriously,
time.
pick a favorite. Like,
yeah, now.
No, I won't do it. No,
this is the original co-host though. Like third.
It's true.
This is the original third host.
That's true.
Like I kind of stole it.
I don't think I think we called him a guest from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I know.
He's always a guest.
I think we might just be tied at episodes now in terms of how many I've been.
With your Q or F and then one other episode, I think you're plus two.
You don't know how glad Duncan is that you didn't show up for the last recording so that he could be one up on you. So here.
I understand.
Yeah. But
you will forever have a spot on the podcast.
I appreciate that. I will keep bringing you beer and bribing my way on.
Yeah, you brought
every
two.
time.
Yeah. Shout out because you brought from Long Tab a one with a bunch of words on it.
That's the Bronze Bruce.
Bronze Bruce. Yep.
Is that what Fireball does to you? Just
carry it. He's just all in orbit.
He's driving this boat too, people. So
are we really recording?
Great. You're doing great.
And then we got the Freudian slip and slide. Oh yeah,
that does
From
sound like you.
Roadmap.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, I guess
by Roadmap Brewing.
Yes.
Yes. Check them out. Yeah.
I guess as is tradition, since you are a guest, we are going to allow you to pick the topic for the Big Three discussion tonight. What do you got for us, Tony?
All right. So the Big Three for me, I started out in one direction and I had to change it and call an audible, or at least my wife called an audible, and that was essentially, we wanted to look at the movies from the 90s, which were the greatest movies next to the 80s. For some people.
Okay. I was going to say we were about to fight.
No, so the 80s is when most of us in the room grew up.
No, like 50%.
50%. I'm going to take most.
I grew up in the 80s. Yeah.
Okay,
I
fine.
definitively did not.
Yeah.
So
The 80s movies were the first ones we probably saw that we shouldn't have seen. The 90s movies, 100%, were the movies we should not have been watching.
That's when we sought them out.
But we actually were able to get into them. So I decided to look at the 90s movies specifically, But more specifically on that, I wanted to look at the villain characters in the 90s movies because
Yes.
there were great heroes.
So many good ones. Yeah.
But then what about the bad guys? Because there were some really good ones in there.
Amazing bad guys. Yeah.
And I felt like if you brought it down to just one genre, it's kind of unfair because you miss out on a lot of really good characters in a variety of other genres. So I just went with the top 3 villains of the 90s era movies.
Love it.
Okay, well, as is tradition around here, our guest will go first.
Sure.
So your first pick,
I
which is your bottom 3.
I was going to say, are we going to fuck this up? This is my first big
answer
3
is yes.
episodes, so let me
Yes.
just clarify here.
Yes, the
We're
answer is
starting
yes.
at the bottom.
We're starting-
Our
so
We're
third
starting at
favorite.
the
favorite.
least
Third favorite.
favorite of your
Of
favorites.
the big 3, yes.
And the problem I had is I had an honorable mention. I don't know if that goes now.
I think you put an honorable mention before you talk about your number 1.
like
That's
that.
usually where I see them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
like
way
how we
it's done.
stack that.
See, he's the professional in the room. That's
No, I'm
why
not.
he's here. So
Absolutely.
That's
How dare
fair.
you?
So I
Yeah, he took my stick drawings for all of our social media stuff, and he just made it actual shit. So,
you had stick drawings? I never got to see those.
oh, they were
That's
terrible.
amazing.
Oh, okay.
They were
Speaking of drawings, I'll have to show you guys some shit I have in the works
Is it
after
the
this,
dicks?
but it's top secret
the
for now.
dick
So
pictures we were
Croc
talking
dicks?
about?
Is it croc dicks?
I
Is
just
that
had-
happening?
I
Yeah.
just drew pictures of your dicks. Yeah.
Oh,
well,
there's a lot of questions I have.
so much for my OnlyFans career. Thanks a lot.
Well, I thought we could just dovetail that into the show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
the room went suddenly quiet as soon as she said that.
That was a very I just bombed on stage moment there.
I'm uncomfortable.
So anyway, back to the topic.
So number
Yeah,
3.
Tony.
I'm gonna go with my number 3. Number 3 was, you may have seen this. Would you like the movie first or the character?
Hey, this is your show,
Yeah,
man.
So I'm gonna give it to you.
I'm just a
this way.
squirrel.
1992
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino film,
Yes.
Oh,
Reservoir Dogs.
Yes. Highly considered this. Go.
I went with Vic Vega,
Yep.
aka Mr. Blonde.
The brother of Vincent Vega.
from Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
The reason being, that was a fucking terrifying
Yeah.
moment. If you've not seen the movie, highly encourage that one.
Yeah, go watch that.
Phenomenal cast.
You'll never listen to
great
that
movie,
song
yeah.
the same again.
Yeah, K. Billy's super sound of the 70s, and it would be Steeler's Wheel stuck in the middle
Holy
with
shit.
you.
I understood like 2 words he just said there.
In that scene, watching Mr. Orange, or not, was it not Mr. Orange on that part? He was bleeding on the side.
Who was
I
Tim
think
Roth's character?
that was Mr. Orange.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I think the one bleeding out was Mr. Orange.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
he's-
the guy. It was the cop.
It was the cop sitting
that
in the
was in
chair.
the trunk that they put in the
put
chair.
in the chair.
Yeah, we're talking about the torturing the cops.
Yeah,
scene,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
cuts the air
The
off.
beautiful
Yeah.
song playing, and he pulls out the straight razor. And
Yeah.
proceeds
Dancing.
to saw
Ooh,
his
yeah.
ear off.
A lot of
Terrible.
tension there.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
Followed up at the end when he's actually holding the ear, and he said, "Hello."
He's talking into
Can you
it.
hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Lunacy.
Terrifying.
Great
you
pick.
There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of characters you could go with, but I found that the most terrifying ones were the ones that actually could have existed
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
in my lifetime, and I felt like Mr. Blonde was one of those psychopaths that could actually exist. So
Yeah.
100%. That's
loved it.
Michael Mann. Is that his name? The actor.
Michael Madsen.
Madsen. That's right.
Yeah.
Madsen.
Yeah.
He's
Michael Mann's a
Kill
different
Bill's
person.
brother.
He got
in-
way older
in-
and way fatter over time.
Yeah.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
actor.
Great dude, though. Yeah.
Wasn't he in Species? Wasn't that one of his movies?
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't-
No,
Okay.
I can't
Yeah.
remember on that one.
Yeah. I mean, we all have phones in front of us and could easily look it up, but we're not
so
going
hard
to. So
Based on everyone's age, I'm the only one who could do it quick enough for it to matter.
that's
so.
true.
Wow.
I still don't know how you move that fast at times. I don't get it. But all right, fast, quick draw McGraw here. While you go next.
Okay, my number 3 is from a 1995 joint. Yes, I was alive. And
How old were you?
I was 5. It was
that hurts.
depending on the month.
Really hurts.
It is from the movie.
Sophomore.
Dude, he
Was in
did get
Species?
fat.
Oh, yeah, he did get fat.
But sorry, Madsen, you got fat, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not throw stones.
So the 1995 thriller, 7.
Oh, that's a good one.
I almost
Doe.
picked him. I
Yes.
almost picked him.
So
Way to just steal my thunder. That's my number one as well. So
Your number one or
that's
your
my
number
number
three?
one. That's my number one.
Oh, like your top.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now I have time
Okay.
to think of another one.
You better
so
figure it
I
out.
do have an honorable mention. Maybe I'll just slide
Maybe
that
just
right
slide
in
that
there.
But I think that's a solid choice for any 3-2 war one here
Yeah.
in this top three, because as much kind of weird shit has come up on Kevin Spacey
agree.
as of late.
I agree.
The 90s
still
were
a
his
villain.
time.
Weird shit
Yeah.
he has come upon. I don't know how to put that, but
Ooh, maybe come upon's not the best way to put it though.
but
Words have meaning.
he is.
no, we did it already.
He is fucking horrifying
Yes.
in
Yes.
that movie.
Yes.
And everyone in this room would have murdered him.
Oh yeah,
Without even thinking about
yeah,
it.
no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie itself is just so amazing.
Yes.
And so you got Pitt, you got Freeman, you got Spacey.
Yes,
Such a good cast.
But just
Yeah.
the crimes that he's perpetrating, the brutality of him, exposing these deadly sins on everybody, and the way he's kind of stalking the investigation.
Yes.
like one of my favorite parts of that movie is when he comes back as the photographer and is just like taking pictures of Brad Pitt at the scene,
yeah. Yeah.
and he chases him off, and like you don't learn that was him until much later, but then when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh fuck, that is clearly
Yep.
Kevin Spacey. Like, and you just don't even notice because of
Yeah.
the way it's done.
Everyone
Man,
at that
I'd have to
moment
rewatch
rewind.
that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would
It's-
rewind it just to see that and go, bullshit, that wasn't him.
Yeah,
And you're like,
and-
oh,
damn it, they did it. They did it well.
But just how his whole goal in life was for him to kill him.
yeah,
Like that was
that
so
was his
badass.
whole plan from start to finish. The big circle there was that what's in the box moment, and to just make his wrath come to life there. It's pretty
Wow,
fantastic.
I never like now having a lot of law enforcement knowledge on things, understanding psyche of perpetrators and stuff like that. People that commit those type of crimes, they want to go back and they want to see, and they want to be like that person there at the scene. Like hearing that now, that just like, oh, that like speaks to like another level
Yeah.
of
Makes
that
even more
character.
sense.
Yeah, like
And then the
yeah.
chase that Brad Pitt gets in with him, like directly after that, and you see that like he's kind of clearly a physically weaker character. Like if Brad Pitt catches up to him, he's probably gonna whoop his ass.
Yeah.
But he's a lot smarter. Like there's a moment when Brad Pitt loses sight of him, Mills loses sight of him, and he like peeks a window, and John Doe's just waiting there to get shots off on him. And then when he climbs up on top of the trash truck, when Mills is using his somewhat subpar searching technique there, and gets fucking
It was a
clocked
different
in the head.
time.
It was a different time. It was a lot of high gun pointing, but a little like Charlie's Angels style. But he gets clocked in the head with the tire iron there, and then there's that. It's probably only 3 seconds of a shot there, but of him picking up Mills' gun and just holding it to his head, just right before Morgan Freeman's Somerset comes running and yelling, and it's just like, oh fuck, he could actually do this right now, like, and then he just disappears. But fuck, he's a
good.
devastating
He's
villain.
terrifying.
Man,
Yeah.
if that's your number three,
That's strong.
Yeah.
That's strong list.
just going to go
there.
home now.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
good.
good. Yeah, okay. Thanks everybody.
Yeah. Well, how do I
who do you
follow
got?
that? Well, that was my number one, so I guess I'll go to my number three now. You really threw me for a loop because I was full on 90s action movies because I thought that's where we were staying at, and then you expanded it, so I'm like,
I opened the door.
"Shit." So I just had to.
And you haven't seen any other movies, so
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
No, I just shot for the moon, and I didn't know we had to write down the years because I thought it was the 90s, so it was sometime in there.
Look, I'm trying
Look
to
it
follow
up.
the rules.
Yeah.
Since
there
I
aren't
clearly
any rules.
I broke them the
And
first time, and
speaking
you break
of
them
there being-
regularly. So
and I'm going to do it right now
Okay.
because I'm picking three in one movie. So
Love
Jesus
it.
Christ.
I'm going with the Shawshank Redemption. We have the sisters, Hadley, and the Warden because they're all equally terrifying. I think
I think that's good.
Hadley's probably the nicest out of the three, but still pretty awful. If you're not doing his taxes or, some kind of form for him,
Helping
he's
him
probably going to beat you
fight
with a
the
stick.
bugs.
Yeah.
Throw you off a roof.
Exactly. So, I Shawshank, probably one of the best movies of all time, at least in my lifetime.
Definitely
So,
up there. Yeah.
Hard to
I give it
argue
that.
that. Yeah.
I just, the Warden, obviously the top dog of just terrible people. And again, reality based of, it probably
exists
people.
right
Yeah,
now.
there's
in some way,
probably
shape, or form.
actively
No.
shitty people.
Definitely
Not that I'm opposed to sending people to prison or anything, but
Understandable. But yeah, those are pretty awful. I think.
I think so.
that's,
And I think everyone understands the argument for the sisters.
yeah. No, I don't think anybody
I don't want
rape.
to. Yeah, I definitely don't want to get butt raped. That sounds terrible.
Sounds pretty awful.
Yeah, not up my alley of things I want to experience. Yeah.
I did not
So-
think you were going to say awful, but yeah, just putting that out there.
So a couple of trivia about Shawshank.
Okay. It's not about rape, though, right?
No,
Okay. All right.
no. So no, Morgan Freeman. That was his first narrating job.
Oh,
really?
And
Okay.
he actually did the narration first before doing all the shooting scenes, like the actual live action. So he knew what was going to happen. So he was able to play into those scenes a little bit more.
Interesting.
Having known that. And then the scene where they're outside and Andy Dufresne first, approaches him and he's throwing the baseball. They shot that scene for so long that he ended up throwing at his shoulder and getting a bruise on his hand from catching the ball that many times.
Wow.
Jeez.
Man, actors are soft.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then the whole world realized that they just want Morgan Freeman to narrate.
Yeah, like
literally
everything.
Everything.
My
Yeah.
voicemail.
Yeah.
I don't even know if anybody does that, but I want that.
I like it.
Yeah. So
Great
Jimmy,
choice. Yeah.
Jimmy. what do you-
Okay, so my bottom three, or the third.
Yeah, we know
third
what
of
you
my
mean.
list. Yeah. Little film from 1997 with Nick Cage.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, Castor Troy.
I knew. I
kidding me?
specifically
Yes.
didn't pick Castor Troy. because-
I picked him. I picked him because I knew he was going to pick him. Yes, I was surprised you didn't pick him. So I
did pick him.
Already talk about him as your third because
My number 2. Well, you guys got this right. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go home now.
We are just destroying your list. That's great. I love it. The dude is iconic. I mean, just the next level that he has to get to with all his drug use and everything. You can't. God.
Well,
it's
hold on
such a
here.
good character.
You picked Nick Cage
Yes.
as Castor, right? Okay. Well, we'll go back the other way then, since that's my number 2. I picked Nick Cage and John Travolta as Castor Troy. What? I'm still in the game. Yeah.
Still in the game. Okay.
Because they're both.
They do both portray him.
If
That's
I,
true. Okay.
If I have to pick which one I like better, it's the Nick Cage one, not the John Travolta.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, because it's Nick Cage. Yeah. How can?
And
how
plus,
can you
he's
not?
just an absolute lunatic in that first
absolutely.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't even think
Yeah.
it's that long. But no,
And he got the gold-plated 1911s.
Yes.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
and the knives, and he can eat a peach for hours. So
I could eat a peach.
let me rephrase. No, I won't.
hours.
But yeah. So, well,
Right.
what can I say? Great minds think alike, but I'm mailing this one in. So,
Yep.
Duncan, what do you got?
Are you talking about my number 3?
No, we're going backwards
Oh,
now.
we go backwards.
Yeah.
Well,
So okay.
might as well because we picked the same one.
Okay.
So,
all right. Let's see. My number 2 choice then here is from barely the 90s, 1991, Terminator 2's T-1000.
yeah,
Almost
that's
chose
good.
it.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
It's good.
The effects still hold up today. I mean, noticeably older, but still just really solid computer effects and special effects that they used for bringing that character to life. And then Robert Patrick's performance
Terrifying. Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
And the scene that sticks with me is he's got her holed up and he's got the spike through her face and the milk carton is still going.
When he's pretending to be the female and
Yes.
he's on the phone and he has the husband,
That's
just
the one.
pinned,
Yeah.
pinned to the wall with the milk and all that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite scene, which kind of showcases what James Cameron was looking for when he cast Robert Patrick and went with this design for this character, was the scene where he's chasing after John Connor on the motorcycle, and just that like efficient dead sprint with like no visible discomfort on his face, just deadpan, nearly catching up to a kid on a motorcycle thing. Pretty fantastic. And
Yeah,
the best
that was
part
great.
about that is that they had to continually shoot that again and again because Robert Patrick actually kept catching up to John Connor on the
Oh,
motorcycle.
shit.
Like
He's
he's
just
on one of those
grease
rigs
lightning.
that pulls the motorcycle on a little cart behind a car. And apparently James Cameron was like, you need to drive faster for this take because like he keeps catching you and this is a
wow.
problem. And the guy was like, he's not going to catch us. Like, it's not going to happen. And then he like,
So Robert Patrick is Usain
he's,
Bolt. Is
yeah,
what you're
he's
saying.
apparently a legend. But, and then that, like I said, that kind of speaks to what James Cameron was looking for, like with the T-800 with Arnold, right? He's like a Hulk. He's a big physical beast of a Terminator, and that's what makes him scary. But it's kind of the opposite with the T-1000, right? He's sleek and he's fast and he's agile, and that's how he kind of battles the T-800, who's now the good guy. So I thought that was pretty solid.
Yeah. I love
Solid
it.
choice.
I love
Great.
it. Yeah.
Love it.
Right. So it comes back to
Yeah,
me.
back to
number
you.
2.
Yeah.
It'll be our second Stephen King.
Okay.
Okay.
Not sure. I feel strongly that maybe Duncan has not seen this. 1990.
Okay.
The movie is Misery.
Oh.
Oh.
Annie Wilkes.
Yep.
100% seen it. My ankles
Have
hurt
you?
already.
Yes, Kathy Bates was phenomenal in that. I remember watching that as a little bit older person in my life.
I definitely didn't see it in 1990.
No.
Just to
I
clarify.
don't think I watched it all the way through.
Oh, she is
James Caan.
James Caan's
Yeah.
the author. She's
Yep.
the Kathy Bates is the super fan Annie Wilkes, and she ends up saving James Caan's character, who is I think he was in a car accident and stranded up, and she took him in and ends up reading his final book and finding out that it was over.
Yeah.
The series was coming to an end, and she, as a result, lost her mind. She was already a little bit off kilter. I think she had killed a few people at the hospital she worked at previously, so not stable. But this scene watching James Caan wake up to find that his legs are tied with a big a big block of wood
Like a
between
6x6 or railroad tie.
and she
like,
proceeds to hobble him and slams the sledgehammer against both of his ankles. And
it's so brutal.
oh,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal because I think especially when you see Kathy Bates at that time as that character, she's very unassuming.
Right, yeah.
She looks very much like quite honestly, a lunch lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal
Perfect
person that you
description.
probably wouldn't assume would be terribly dangerous and
Terrifying.
Yeah.
She ends up completely obliterating both angles with the swing of a sledgehammer. And I remember the effects on that at the time appeared a lot more realistic.
Yeah.
Still scars me to think about that.
yeah.
But yet again, another character that could exist,
Oh,
which makes
yeah.
it worse in my mind.
Yeah.
It's surprising pick. I didn't see that one coming. Yeah.
It wasn't there, and then it made it on the list at 3, and then I kind of went, gosh, you know what? That was so awful. I think she gets a bump to 2. We'll go to 2 on that.
You know,
fair.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't tried to remake something like that in the modern era because of how big like celebrity culture is and
Oh,
how
yeah.
much we are obsessed
Yeah.
with certain celebrities and things like that, right? Like that idea of that type of obsession with a character or with a person is kind of ahead of its time in that movie. And
Oh, yeah.
and nowadays, like actors and people have stalkers like that. Maybe not quite to
Well,
that level, but
you
they're
know,
crazy like that all the time.
Recently watched You on Netflix, the final season, and they
We
did
haven't
kind
done
of
that
touch on that with the character obsessed with the princess lady. Lady, what's her bucket?
Yeah, Lady Phoebe. Yeah,
Yeah, that's her name. Yeah. So they kind of do touch on that, but that is a great point. I do.
Yeah, not that I'm saying I want them to remake that, but I am surprised since there are no original ideas that they haven't tried to remake that. So
Yeah.
that's a good pick. I like it.
Okay. Let's see. I guess it's my number 2 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do 2 number 2s. One.
Changing the
Do we need
rules.
to
I love it.
Do we
Yeah.
need to pause? Or you mean
You've been been hanging around B too much.
No, because one is from my wife, and she was adamant that this be in here.
Okay. I like
and
it.
it's I'm going to do hers first, and it's Shredder from TMNT 2.
The second Super
yeah.
Shredder.
Yeah,
Cowabunga.
Super Shredder.
I like it.
1991 was the movie. TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze, played by none other than Kevin Nash.
Oh,
No
really?
kidding.
I
Yeah,
did
I
not
know
know
that.
that.
Yeah, Kevin
Oh,
Nash.
wow.
It's also the Russian in the Tom
Punisher,
Jane Punisher.
Yeah, there's a great interview that he does on his podcast, the Click This podcast. He goes in depth onto everything that happened, but basically, it's like 1989 or 1990 or whatever. They're filming the movie in North Carolina, and he just happens to be in North Carolina. And the producer's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like 30 minutes later, he's in a hotel getting his face molded for Super Shredder.
When I think of Ninja Masters, I think of Kevin Nash. So that makes sense.
Well, you understand that
Plays.
he's been mutated by the ooze, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Like, watch the movie, bro.
Also
And-
has a saw blade for a helmet in that too.
Yeah.
yeah. The only reason that he got that is because
It looks cool.
because the character that was going to play Super Shredder, he did Harry and the Hendersons, and he did another role. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Predator? Was it the same
It
guy
was a
that did
Predator. Yeah. He had actually just passed away. And the suit had already been made, and they're like, "Fuck, we need a big dude." And
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, 7 foot tall, they're
Big
like, "You, how do you feel about doing this?" And he's like, "Yes." It's at his first credit in film, and he said in the podcast he said he actually got paid more for that being on set for a month than he did in all of his first couple of years of wrestling.
Jeez.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So that's my wife's number 2. Fantastic pick. I loved it.
Good one.
All right. So for my number 2, a little film from 1995. Little film called Scream.
Okay.
Yeah. Ghostface.
All right.
Oh,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
so would that be Shaggy?
No, not Matthew Lillard,
Oh, okay.
but played by
Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich, exactly.
There you go.
Yes.
Ulrich. Okay.
Yes,
Wonderful
Playing,
name.
playing Barry Loomis. Loomis, I can't remember his name. Loomis, the first guy. But the reason I picked him as number 2 is because of how iconic Ghostface has become. The movie in and of itself was kind of mid. 7. I'd give it 7 out of 10 for that time period. It
was original. Like
it was a really good,
even though it was a ripoff of
horror-
all like horror movie genres, but
But they played into that.
Yeah, they did.
It
Yeah.
made that
Very
part of it.
self-aware.
I mean, even now, almost 30 years since 1995, Ghostface is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
you still see it.
13-year-old loves those.
Big
movies.
resurgence
Yeah.
for that franchise. So
Yeah, so every Halloween you're going to see a Ghostface, and you're going to know, okay, that's from the movie Scream.
true.
So you
That's
can't,
true.
yeah, it's so yeah, that's why it's number 2. Honorable mention here. So I got 2. It's going to be the Jimmy minute here. So the first one from my wife, Stargate, 1994. The kid that played Raw.
Oh, the creepy blue-eyed.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
his deep voice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That's solid.
Kurt Russell was in it.
Totally forgot about that one.
Fantastic.
Jay Davidson is the guy that played Raw in that movie. So that was her honorable mention. My honorable mention.
Well done, Marine. That was good.
is Hannibal Lecter.
Oh fuck yeah,
That's a good one.
great
Yeah.
one.
It's a good one.
Damn.
1991 with Anthony Hopkins. I'd never seen it, Silence of the Lambs, until like last year. It's just a film that I never wanted to see. So I finally watched it, loved it. Jodie Foster. Yeah, she does great. Anthony Hopkins, really creepy. So love that film. However, my number one villain of the 90s, Darth Maul.
Yeah, I knew someone was going to try to sneak that in there.
I think it's still an okay pick.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
1999, Ray Park, Darth Maul.
No.
He's a great character. That movie did not give us that character other than the
True.
intro. So
I think you're being too hard on it. I think
I
that's
think
a
so
solid
too.
pick.
And I still, you remember being in the theater too.
Oh yeah, I was there.
When he popped the second lightsaber.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers
Well, they
that.
screwed us and did that on the trailer. They did release that on the
it
trailer.
didn't matter when you were in
But
the
it was
in the
badass.
theater.
See, perfect
Yeah.
for me. I was 9. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Fuck
didn't
you
watch
and your
trailers.
youth.
I didn't watch trailers.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
like,
just a
well,
kid who
who
went to a
cares
movie,
about
and then I was like,
trailers?
oh my god, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
he's
that
got,
being the
he's
greatest
got
thing
everything
ever.
that makes a great villain. He's
Yeah.
got the face paint. He's got the horns.
Yeah.
He's got
Yes.
the evil demeanor. And he's just out to fuck up the main character.
watching him
pure
stalk
rage.
back and
Yeah.
forth, waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
hitting,
Waiting so he can go
hitting
back
the ground
in.
with a lightsaber as Obi-Wan
Phenomenal.
is just hanging there.
And Ray
yeah.
Park is just phenomenal
Yeah.
with the physicality
Yeah.
of it. It's great. I think it's a solid pick.
I think
Yeah,
it's
so
fair.
my number one.
I think
yep.
you picked that because you knew I was going to pick that. I think that's what you're trying to do.
I
That's
think you
your
should be
angle.
pleased that he
You know,
picked Star Wars. Like,
yeah,
really.
I'm just happy you saw it. That's
I
all
was
I
actually
care about.
pleased to remember that Star Wars was 1999. I was like, oh hell yeah, Darth Maul is going on this
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, I considered that too. I also considered Silence of the Lambs, but I can't believe I'm like kicking myself that I didn't think of Hannibal Lecter because I was thinking of Buffalo Bill.
So that was one of my wife's picks. That
Yeah.
was, I believe, it was her number 2.
That's a great
was
one.
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because she thought
bad
she
fuck
thought
me.
that character was way
Yeah.
better than Hannibal Lecter. That may say a lot about my wife. I'm not sure.
Creepy as fuck for sure.
I read
mean,
something the other day that like Hannibal Lecter had like 10 minutes of screen time or something in that movie. It's very minimal.
I would,
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
God,
10
he's
minutes,
so
but it's
terrifying.
pretty minimal.
Probably. I could see 10.
because it's really just that one scene, and then he calls her a couple of times.
Yeah.
but that's it.
Yeah, and he never
Yeah.
says hello, Clarice. Yeah, that's a myth. He never says hello, Clarice.
Was that like a elementary, my dear Watson sort of thing? Like,
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes never actually said that.
Never actually says it. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm just going to believe he did.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't
I
care.
heard him say it. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Continue being wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Inspector.
I'm still right about that. Just wait. I'm gonna go see it again.
All right. So I'll give you my honorable mention. I'll set the scene for you.
Okay.
We're
Setting
doing the
scenes.
90s here.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that we all knew.
Are you gonna have to explain like the what are they called, Jinko jeans or what?
I had some of those too.
I saw those at Guitar Center yesterday,
Yes,
and it made
oh
me do
my
a double
God.
take.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fucking Jinko jeans, fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
It's either that
They
or
were
Doc
phenomenal.
Martens, and
I may still have some
yeah.
docs, but that's fine.
Jeans you could conceal a full-size AK-47 in the back pocket
Or
of.
2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do we know in the 90s? We knew that Crystal Pepsi sucked.
Yeah.
OJ did it.
Oh yeah. He
And
did that
Salma
shit.
Hayek was the hottest
Oh.
woman on the planet.
Oh, sweet
and
baby
probably
Jesus.
still is.
You ain't wrong.
Oh,
So my
sweet baby
honorable
Jesus.
mention was Santanico Pandemonium from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
she's the main
shit.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stripper
Stripper with the python around
Yeah.
her neck. And Jimmy's looking at me as though he has no clue.
It's because he hasn't.
And I need you to
clue.
go watch this movie.
Or
Dusk
at
Till
least the
Dawn?
clip that Quentin Tarantino
Or just that.
clearly wrote into the movie just because
to
he has
get-
a weird foot fetish where she puts her foot in his
That's-
mouth
that's that
and
movie?
pours
Yes.
booze down her leg into his mouth.
The
Okay.
whole movie is wonderful.
I have
It is a
not
solid
seen
movie.
Dusk Till Dawn.
so you need to see that.
You know,
one.
that might have been one of those movies like I was not allowed to see at
Oh,
the time because I grew up
100%
in a
it was
very
not.
strict Christian home. Like I couldn't watch
No.
American Beauty. Silence of the Lambs, could not watch it, so
No.
I imagine
I
this
was
one is
already
probably
a
up there.
man.
Yeah.
You most definitely couldn't watch it. Cheech Marin has, I believe,
Yeah.
3 different roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a border
He's,
guard.
he's the hype man,
he's
and
the
that's
hype
my
man.
favorite one.
Yeah, he's talking.
Got that up.
He's amazing in that. Who else is it? Well, George Clooney is the
Yeah.
lead
You know
in
what?
it.
I think he's probably the weakest in it. Like, he wasn't really good in that movie. I didn't think.
Who, George Clooney?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he's a badass, and he's got like a big tribal neck
I guess
tattoo.
it's been a while
does.
since I've seen it. I remember liking him, but
Yeah, I like him. I just don't think
yeah.
he was.
He was not the best.
Sure.
That's saying a lot because Quentin Tarantino is acting in this. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis was in it.
She was great.
She was
Harvey
phenomenal.
Keitel
Harvey
was
Keitel.
awesome. But yeah.
He was the father of Juliette Lewis
Yes.
and her brother. Nah, I don't remember his
I don't
name.
remember him.
Yeah, me
I
either.
don't know if he did anything else.
You
but
find a better deal, fuck it.
you find
Yeah.
cheaper pussy than this.
Fuck it.
But I do remember a very specific point in my life, that movie coming out. And, you know,
Yeah, it's like
you see it. You see Salma Hayek
just,
come out.
just because I have the
Danny
time
Trejo's in it?
Yeah, the timestamp memerized.
just because I know
from, like,
exactly where it's at.
from Desperado and
I was just gonna bring up Desperado.
Desperado,
tell you
where
how many
traffic
times I
literally
fucking rewound
crashes.
that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean the '90s were big for her.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
showed up on the scene hot.
Oh my God.
And then
So hot.
I just remember her coming out and she has that albino boa. Oh,
yeah,
I don't know, Jimmy. It's
yeah. I can't
do
believe
yourself a
I've seen it.
favor.
Okay.
And quite honestly, you don't need to watch the whole thing. You should.
It's,
There's some good stuff in there.
Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino wrote that together.
I believe so.
And then Tarantino starred in it, and Robert Rodriguez directed it. It was like his. Was that after Desperado, or it had to
I
be
think it was
after?
after
Yeah.
because there's a lot of the characters
It was
in
after
Dusk Till
the
Dawn that
big-
are also in Desperado.
It was after
or
the
not
big
characters, the actors, I should
El
say.
Mariachi was
Yes.
his big hit that got him to do
Yeah.
Desperado,
Yes.
and so I think it's right around
Okay.
that time. But yeah,
I think
put
we
it- I'll
should,
put it
he
on the
should
list, yeah.
look it up now, and we should all leave the room. I'm just saying because it's amazing.
yeah, then it's gonna be weird and musty
phenomenal.
in here after that. we don't need it any more than it is. Like,
Fair.
But yes, I had to have her on the list.
yeah, that's good.
Special place in my heart.
Yeah.
absolutely.
We'll go with my heart. We'll go with
That
my
was
heart.
your honorable mention.
That was my honorable
Okay.
mention.
All right. Duncan?
Mostly because she was a quick, like she's in there for a very short amount of
Yes.
time. She's
But
the catalyst for all of it, but
barely clothed.
She's Selma
and-
fucking Hayek,
and she's
so-
Selma Hayek.
All right. Well, what's your number one then?
oh wait.
Are we-
Oh, is that what we're doing? Did you
we're
give
doing-
your number one?
Yeah, I
already?
gave my number one,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, go
Cool,
run
cool.
with
I
it.
was gonna say.
So my number one was another Kevin Spacey. It was
It's got to be Usual Suspects.
there you go,
right?
Verbal
Yeah,
Kint,
okay.
aka
Oh, yeah.
Kaiser
Kaiser
Soze.
Soze. Yeah.
I think mostly because that, at least up to that point in the movies that I had seen, I'd never had a twist of that magnitude.
Yes. Fantastic.
Where you had to stop and think through his entire story.
Right. Does that actually make sense? Like,
And then-
oh fuck, it does.
You know,
Yeah.
he's suddenly they do they show his feet as he's walking, and Verbal's
Yeah.
dragging
And
the
he's
foot that's slowly
getting-
cants back out
Yep.
straight, and he's walking away, and you realize that Verbal was a genius.
Yeah.
And he masterminded the entire thing. Not to mention the cast on that movie
Yes.
alone.
Yep. And
is
give me the
phenomenal.
keys.
Give me those fucking keys, cocksucker. Who is that? That was Benicio.
Benicio del Toro
Yes.
Yep.
and one of the bald ones. The one from Biodome.
Steven?
Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah.
Baldwin.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was my number one, and also just the idea that I think that kind of twist in a lot of the different movies that have come since then have
Yeah.
kind of played on that same kind of style. So
Nice.
I thought
Nice.
Verbal, Kaiser Soze.
All right, my number one is based primarily on my own enjoyment of this character.
You forgot your
Probably.
honorable mention.
Oh, my
You have
honorable
one?
mention. Sorry, it's
It's
Darth
all right.
Maul.
okay.
Mine was Darth
That's fair
Maul.
enough.
That's who I had lined up for that.
Okay.
I thought about throwing him in there, but I just
You all just ganged up on me. That's what this was.
Yeah, we
This was a
texted about
coup.
it.
This was a coup.
We also texted about wearing the merch and said "fuck you." So.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get that text. So.
I know that's because
Yeah,
we
that-
excluded you. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
We wanted you to feel ostracized.
Yeah.
How's that working?
Hey, I bought it. I wore it.
We're secretly pushing you out.
yeah.
I don't. I've been saying it from the beginning.
Now it's
I
openly
mean, you should
happening.
know on podcast day you got to wear the merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm owed in it. Sorry.
We're gonna take a picture for the social media, and I'm just gonna have to copy and paste a shirt on
Really poorly done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I was gonna wear the headband today too. I just couldn't find my bandana in the house. So, but sorry.
Opportunity.
But yeah,
missed.
I'm sorry. Your
No, you're
enjoyment.
fine.
Go ahead.
So, my number one pick is from an animated movie that came out in 1993.
Okay.
And this will not surprise probably anybody, but it is The Phantasm
I was gonna say it's the
from
Mask Phantasm.
Batman Mask of
Yeah.
the Phantasm. Earlier today, we were talking about Kevin Conroy, Batman, and that's just it
How
for
he's
me.
the greatest. Yeah.
That is it for me, and that movie might be the best Batman
Yeah.
movie ever.
I actually just saw that for the first time like
what the fuck have you been
3
doing?
years ago. I don't know how it just missed me, and I never.
God.
And then you couldn't rent it anywhere. It was
don't know
always
that I've
gone.
seen it.
It's great.
Oh, you gotta see it.
I'm pretty sure it's available on Max. So
Is it?
It is, yeah. It's on Max or HBO Max.
But
or
it's
whatever the fuck it's
it's very good.
So, reason
Great
being,
twist.
I'll talk about it. Yeah. First of all, I've talked about it many times. Voice acting, very important.
Yep.
It's voiced by the great Dana Delaney, who is the voice
okay.
of Lois Lane
Yep.
in Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, and a
Yep.
shit ton of other stuff. She's fantastic. She's also done a lot of live action work, acting and stuff like
Wasn't
that.
she
but
on China Beach?
Wow, look at that reference.
Maybe?
I think she
You've
was.
never even seen it.
Don't know what that is.
Didn't even know
Yeah.
what that is.
No.
It's MASH, basically. It's just different war.
It's
Yeah,
just-
different
okay.
war.
All right. But basically, so she the Phantasm shows up in Gotham and just starts murking folks. And because of the costume that the Phantasm has, which is kind of a Grim Reaper-esque kind of thing, a big billowy cape sort of gown sort of thing, and kind of disappears and appears in a puff of smoke. Everyone thinks Batman is out there killing people, that he's finally snapped. So it not only do they have some great interactions, but it leads to a fantastic moment where Batman has to fight the police and escape from just an overwhelming police presence. And it's kind of based on Frank Miller's Batman Year One, where he fights the SWAT team. It's a little bit of an homage to that. So it's really great. But the best part about this character is that she is she's essentially a villain to Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Right.
And we learn that she is a former love interest. So when Bruce was back from his training abroad in Gotham, and he's still trying to work out how to be a vigilante. He's not Batman. He has the skills. He doesn't have the vision yet. And he meets Andrea Beaumont, I guess is how it's pronounced, when he's at the cemetery visiting his parents. And he's having this very like Batman conversation with his parents, you know, sort of like, I made a promise and I'll do this and yada, yada, yada. And then she's having like a normal, like, I really miss you, Mom, and today I went and did this and yada, yada, yada. And they end up meeting and they realize they're kind of, in a way, cut from the same cloth. They're orphans, not orphans, but her dad's still alive, but they've had loss and they've had to grow up too fast because of it. And they end up falling in love, and he gets engaged to her, and it turns out that her dad's involved in some mob stuff, and he has to flee the country, and she has to go with him. And it almost makes her responsible for Batman, because when he ends up in getting engaged, he has this moment where he's like, I can't do Batman and this relationship. It has to be either one.
Right,
And
yeah.
probably one of the greatest moments in Kevin Conroy's Batman ever is Bruce goes to the cemetery and he's on his knees at his parents' gravesite. It's pouring rain and he's begging them for permission to not be Batman. He says, like, I know I made a promise to you, but I didn't count on being happy. And it's such a great illustration of like, it tells us so much. The villain tells us so much about who Batman is and why he does what he does and how tragic that character is. So then when she comes back into Gotham and then suddenly back into Batman's life and Bruce's life, like, and then she turns out to be the bad guy, he kind of like loses her all over again.
Oh, man.
And it's well worth a watch.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic
fantastic.
movie. And yeah, so that's my number one.
That's a good one. That's real good. Yeah, I think like 50% of the room has seen it, so that's
well,
that's well done.
That's your fault.
Definitely
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to put on the watch list for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that along with Dusk Till Dawn. Okay.
So, because I was just robbed earlier.
Yeah,
I
so
had to
what's this number
get
one?
creative, but I'm going to give you my honorable mention first. So, I'm going to throw out there. There could be some debate on whether he's the true villain or not, but I'm going to throw out Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
I like it.
Uh,
Love
or
that
maybe
movie.
it's the man. Maybe he's
narrator?
the good guy. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's whatever it is, capitalism that they're taking down. Maybe that
Capitalism is the real bad guy.
Maybe that's
Yeah, that is the bad
Hard to
guy.
say.
Yeah.
But you're not your fucking khakis. So
Right.
Tyler Durden,
Yeah.
great. Love Fight
Yeah,
Club.
his name was Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
That's right.
Phenomenal last song at the end of the movie. It's
yeah,
the
big
Pixies.
Where's
Pixies
my mind?
fan
Yeah.
right there.
Yes.
So,
God.
yeah,
Made
great.
me happy.
Where is my mind?
Just all these buildings blowing up. And,
Yep.
yeah, it's fantastic. After he blew his own brains out. like,
the author. I read the book. It's by
Yeah, I
Chuck
did.
Palahniuk. It's fantastic. It's if you are interested in reading and not watching things, good read. But he has come out and said that he liked the ending of the movie better than he liked the ending of the book. I won't spoil the book, but
nice.
it's different. And he has even said that he liked the ending of the movie more. So
Wow. Well, that's something that never happens. You never
Right,
hear
I
that.
know, right?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Dude,
All right.
that movie was such a mind fuck. I loved
yes.
the first time I saw it, and like you get to the end and they're like, well, how the hell has Brad Pitt been in all these areas before,
Right.
the narrator? And you're like, what is
Yeah.
going on? And then and like there's just that scene and you're like, oh fuck, like they even say, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, and he falls down into the bed and you're like,
Talks about the insomnia and like,
That's
and
not-
it's just like,
it's not quite the same as the
whoa.
Kaiser Soze moment, but it's kind of
it's
like
big. Yeah.
It's the same but different. It's a big like, holy shit! I
It
can't
changed your
believe
entire
that's-
perspective on everything you just
Right,
watched.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then you
right.
have to
Like-
immediately be like, I have to either rewind this or rewatch the whole thing.
Yep.
Or
Yeah, and
what.
that's what I did because I watched it when I was in college, and so I had nothing else going on, so I watched it again, and it just wow, yeah, so good.
I think, and feel free to disagree, but like I watched
disagree.
these two movies. I know you do. I watched these two movies around the same time, and I think the overwhelming theme for both of them is the same: American Beauty and Fight Club. They have that.
I disagree that I disagree. I agree.
You are not your khakis.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Spacey's line from.
You're Kevin
From-
Spacey heavy.
I know.
Yeah,
We're
he's just
so
a villain.
canceled.
He is just a bad
Turns
dude.
out.
Was he
Yeah.
the bad guy?
It
he
turns
was the
out
bad guy
you
in
play
that
a
one.
bad guy, you are a bad guy.
Yeah,
But no, they
Weird.
kind of had the same theme of live your life, don't
Yeah.
fall in line and all this stuff. And
This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
exactly, yeah, fantastic. I'm just
Great.
gonna watch a plastic grocery sack float around for a little bit just to enjoy the moment. So. But yeah, so that was my honorable mention. I had to do some quick scrambling to come up with another one, and I thought about maybe a Few Good Men.
Okay.
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 But Colonel Jessup is not the villain. It would be the prosecutor because all he did was weaken a nation today. That's all he did. So Tom
That's fair.
Cruise would have been the villain.
Okay. Well,
But
if that's your choice, then
that's not my choice. I'm going to go with William Strenix from a little movie called Under Siege. Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, phenomenal pick.
LSD laced former a fallen CIA agent, and he's
There's a woman jumping out of a birthday cake in that, correct?
yes,
There is.
It does ring a bell.
Unnecessary nudity. Yep, that sounds like the 90s.
Yeah.
just
Is he
a
wearing a leather jacket or a denim tuxedo? I can't remember.
It's a leather jacket, but it's got a lot of like rhinestones and
Yeah,
like
okay.
spikes on it.
Rhinestones.
Yeah. So
this is a Steven
good stuff.
Seagal movie. Have you not seen this, Jimmy? No.
Get
Another
the
one I
fuck-
haven't
no
seen.
way! You've never seen Under Siege?
What do you
Talk
do
about
in
a
your
real
free
life
time?
Again, grew up in a very Christian home. A lot of things that were
Man.
R-rated I could not watch, and
Yeah.
so
I
you know,
didn't say I
there-
had permission to watch it. I'm just saying.
See, the
No,
best part is my
very
parents.
very guarded home. Like if it was R-rated, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I just had to wait till my dad went to work, and then my mom would be asleep.
See,
so
my
I
parents
kinda
were
had fair way.
divorced, so I just
Yeah.
had to say to my dad, my mom said, we can't see this. And then he'd be like, we're going to fucking see this.
Yeah, like wait. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, you're like,
I would do the same if my
it's
boy came in.
R-rated, so
Yeah.
I can't go see it. Like, the fuck you can? I'm your father. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
We're gonna go fucking see this. Yeah, hell yeah.
No, I think Jimmy, we had similar household. I had to really fight to see a lot of these because I think the first R-rated movie I was allowed to see was Rain Man
Oh wow!
because they had seen it before, and they're like, "There's a few parts that are a little bit."
We'll just plug your ears.
Yes,
I
that-
know. I my house wasn't that different, but the only movie that really stands out that they absolutely locked me upstairs while they watched it was Fatal Attraction.
That's
And
good.
I kept trying to sneak downstairs, and then when I was old enough that I actually had the opportunity to watch the movie, I was like, "Holy shit, this is terrible! No wonder they didn't want me to watch this. I don't know if I can sleep now."
Yeah. I
This
think
lady is crazy.
I think my first R-rated film was Titanic.
Oh God, I fell asleep in that in the theater.
Mine was First
Yeah.
Blood. So
Ooh,
I saw
nice.
that when I was like 4.
That's
Like-
the one that my parents let me watch. Now,
Yeah, I
after
couldn't even
that,
tell you.
after that, I went down the rabbit hole and watched a lot of different stuff. But yeah, I think the first R-rated film that I can remember being at an R-rated was Titanic.
I was forced to go on like I think it was like a triple date with a couple of my buddies and blind date too. Never met this girl before and had to watch that terrible movie, and I fell asleep at some point, and I woke up right before when the ship's going down. And the guy falls off the back of the boat and
and
lands
it's
on the propeller,
yeah.
and I started laughing so hard. And I'm like, well, there won't be a second date. So,
Do you think that guy waved hello to the new people?
yeah, no, because he's dead. He was dead for a long, long time.
I legitimately thought, Jimmy, that the only reason you were saying Titanic was because you were segueing into
Yeah,
a
I was like,
submersible.
he lined this
humor.
up.
Here it comes.
Like, here you go.
As I was talking about it, I was like, how can I weave this in? I'm like, no, I can't. But
You're giving him way too much credit. That fireball is blinded and
Oh, yeah,
completely.
absolutely. I think the first R-rated I tried to watch on my own was Predator.
I
And
think
that
that might have
terrified
been.
me.
Because what year was that, man?
80
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say Caddyshack.
was it?
It was one of the. It's probably just one of those random nudity movies from the
Yeah.
80s that.
I walked around for weeks after watching parts of Predator looking for 3 red dots moving up my arm. Terrified.
Kind of like when
of
you go
that.
into a house that has bed bugs and you're just like,
Yes,
oh,
you're like,
it's definitely
oh,
on me.
Oh, I
definitely
saw
on
it.
me.
I so saw
Now that you say that just triggered I think the first actual R-rated movie I watched was Jaws. And
You know what?
you know
that
what?
could be.
That actually
It
is in there too.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
I was
dad
like-
thought it was a good idea
I was
for
like
me to see it.
3, and I wouldn't go to the bathroom. Like I was like looking in the toilet, like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
oh
Crazy.
god, like wouldn't go swimming, nothing.
No.
Just like any body of water, I was terrified.
To this
of.
day, it's knees or less
Oh, yeah,
water
fuck
at the
the
ocean.
ocean.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
No, I no. Had a
Anytime
bad
I go swimming in the
experience.
ocean, I'm
Yeah.
always like, something touch me!
Yeah.
What the fuck
If
touch
I
me?
cannot
Get me out of
see
here!
through the water, like I'm not. No.
No. Yeah.
Horrifying.
I will throw this one out there with no context, and it's one of the very first R-rated movies I saw. But Critters,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
terrifying when you're 4.
Jimmy has no idea.
No, I don't.
Okay.
How do you know Critters, but you don't know Under Siege? That blows my mind.
I know Critters is awful, but it was
You
also
know,
great.
like the craziest thing too here is during this, my parents owned a video store.
Did they really?
They really did. So,
Wow.
and I remember seeing
That's my
a
dream.
good majority of some of these titles
Sure,
on,
yeah.
on the shelves, but they were also very guarded, and they were like, "No, you are a good Christian boy."
So
And-
this particular
Yeah.
video store didn't have this special book in the back that you could flip through for certain titles that weren't
it said-
displayed.
Those
Yeah, definitely
saloon
did not
doors
have-
that went
yeah,
to the other part.
Yeah,
The
didn't have
college-
the bead
Yeah.
room.
Yeah,
you
the
go
college
through
town
the
that I
bead door.
grew up
Yeah.
in had this big binder in the back that it said you had to be 18
yeah.
to look at it, and like
Oh yeah, I'm definitely
course.
18. Yeah.
it was like it was like what I would imagine your first like hand-to-hand drug transaction would be like. You're like looking around like I need to see a book.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just kind of
This is the one I want right here. Let me
yeah.
just slide that over.
Yeah.
and then you can't like spend too much time actually looking
No.
at it. You're just like
that's the
right
one.
there.
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had my first year in college at a very small town in the middle of nowhere, and it was years before streaming.
Yeah.
And Comedy Central hadn't even made it to this small town yet. So very sheltered, and they had the one movie store that had a very sketchy selection of adult-themed entertainment, and we were all too chicken shit to go there. And so the
Right, yeah.
one guy that would go there, but he was only brave enough to actually rent it, but he would just select whatever he could
Ow.
grab.
Well,
and so there
hey,
was some
props to him.
there were
though.
some terrible viewings on Thursday night porn night.
Hey, you know what? Not my proudest fat, but I still fat. It happens.
Look, I'm not going to say it was my favorite show,
Man, I
but it
can't
worked.
believe that.
It worked.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
You had a restricted to Thursdays. That's terrible.
Yeah, Man Love Thursdays. Yeah.
Well, that was. Is that it? Did we wrap it up? That's the.
Well, I got some
Oh.
names on here that we didn't mention. Now,
We should have mentioned maybe.
yeah, we should have mentioned. Definitely The Matrix with Agent
Okay.
Smith.
Agent Smith.
That
Yeah.
would be a
I
good
thought
one.
about
Yeah.
that too. I did, but I felt
Hugo
like there
Weaving
was
is fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic in that.
all-time great villain. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I was sad Cyrus the Virus didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
Con
about
Air.
that too.
From Con Air.
I
Oh, yeah,
didn't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
too Nick Cage heavy on my list because
Well,
Castor Troy was number. He
True,
was
but that's
definitely
John
in there.
Malkovich, so
Yeah, I agree. That's great. That's
it
great.
would work.
But it's still Con Air.
I mean, with the flowing hair.
Yeah.
So
based on your training as an Army Ranger.
Almost saved
Your
the day.
hands are a deadly weapon.
let's see. Then we have The Mummy, 1999 as well.
Okay.
With
That's
Arnold
solid.
Vosloo playing Imhotep.
Yeah, just the mummy is fine.
Yeah, my wife brought it up, and she's like, "Well, he wasn't really the villain. They came into his place." Like, no, he
No,
was
he's the
definitely-
villain.
Yeah, because he was trying to take over the world. They locked
Yeah,
him
he
away
was
with the Book of
trapped
the
in
Dead.
a book. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's definitely the bad guy. She's like, "Well, is he?" Like, yeah, no, he is.
No, there was a
he's-
different point where he could have stopped.
Yeah.
And would not
Yeah.
have been the villain.
Oh, yeah, he'd be like, I'm free now. I could just live my life.
I could just like
She,
No,
yeah,
I
she
do
did make the
whatever.
point that he
Yeah.
did fuck the Pharaoh's daughter, and that was probably the bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
no,
yeah, no,
it
yeah,
happens.
We all make
he's bad,
choices.
yeah.
Yeah.
But those were my two outliers. I didn't mention them. I didn't know if you guys would mention them, but I put them on
Yeah.
there.
I had Gary Oldman from The Fifth Element.
Fifth
I
Element.
thought about him on multiple because he was also in Air Force One.
Yes.
He was the bad guy from
Yes.
that.
Yep.
I thought about Air Force One, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, let's leave the
very
Air
good.
Force out of this.
Yeah.
It was-
It's a-
I
Time
didn't
and a
even
place.
think about the Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Fifth
that
Element
was
was
one that was
definitely
going to
up there.
make it.
God, one of my favorite movies.
I still watch
I
that
really thought one
religiously.
of you guys would have picked that. And that's what strayed me away. But
I wanted
instead, I picked
to.
the ones you knew I'd pick. Damn it!
I thought
Any-
about Danny.
any
I
other-
thought about Danny DeVito's Penguin.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about that too.
Just for
Jack-
the weirdness of that whole thing
Yeah.
and how
Still phenomenal.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great.
At the
Christopher
end, he's-
Walken in something, probably Batman
Probably.
Returns. I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he's Max Shrek in that.
You know,
man, good topic, boys.
Yeah, that was
I like
excellent.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Loved it.
We should stay in these realms. I like it. It's fun to play.
Safe.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Memories. Oh. I love it when you're like, yeah, when I was 5. And I'm like, oh.
Like, fuck off
I
in
was,
your youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been the prime of my life.
Sophomore in high school. But that's fine.
Hey, real quick, Tony, are you team GIF or GIF?
It has always been GIF.
Thank you.
And we're done, folks. Be sure to check your wages.
You're dead to me.
I wanted to comment. I had a feeling, and then it was confirmed through one particular tweet
Well,
who was Team GIF. And I was like, I sometimes go a little hard at Jimmy, and I'm gonna leave him alone on this one. I'm not going to do it. And so I left it. But now that you've brought
Let's
it
all
up,
beat him up right
it's
now.
always been GIF with a hard gun.
so the official verbiage for the pod is now GIF.
Yeah.
GIF.
Yes.
Hashtag team GIF.
Team
I want to
GIF.
support you on this, Jimmy. I just can't.
Also, by the way, you incorrectly called me out as being the first one to throw.
Oh,
stones.
that was
Duncan.
Oh, it's
I'm the one that
Duncan.
said,
Oh.
no, you're wrong. So,
Yep.
yeah, eat it.
I figured it would have been you because that's
how I
fits
roll.
you
Yeah.
better. I figured we would have had a common bond here with it being GIF.
No.
Yep, I gotta disagree.
Nope. GIF is peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you. That's what I said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
This
you're
is
all
my
wrong.
teammate here, pal.
I'm gonna continue on. Yeah. So if you're Team GIF, let me know on
I
our
can't
Twitter.
wait till he edits this all out and it's
I know.
all of us arguing the same thing
Just
because he
saying-
just changed
Yeah.
it for all of us.
And it's going to be hard edits too. It's gonna be like, oh, I'm Team GIF.
I hope that takes you a week to do.
I got to edit it
I
tomorrow.
don't.
So,
I don't.
so
This
no.
needs to come out.
Been trying
right.
to support you, Jimmy. I've
Well,
been trying.
yeah. So that's the sit rep, folks.
Nope,
No,
that's
that's
the
not the
formation.
sit rep. That was a formation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're not even drunk.
the
I'm not.
formation.
Yeah. So
Okay, let's do this mail.
dig
mailbag.
into your bag
Your
with
butt.
the
Mailbag, right?
mail call.
We still,
call.
still don't have a theme.
No,
Right?
no, no.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Still don't.
yeah. We're
Maybe like a little sky, like dun 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 dun, dun. Mail call, dun dun dun. Something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Shit.
He can make that
Oh,
happen
he's
right
gonna
now.
do it right now.
Okay.
We're getting the live acoustic version. All right.
All right. So how does
This is mail call
It's gonna be
unplugged.
really emo because it's acoustic. So
Yeah. Okay.
I
Mail call. Mail call. Mail call.
no rhythm.
Mail call. Yeah.
I like it. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
gonna
easy
stick.
enough. Yeah, that's gonna stick. That's the one.
That's the
Nailed
one.
it.
First take.
Yes. All right. So, who's got one? Anybody?
Sounds like you do. So
I got
get
one.
it going.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let her rip
Get
there,
it.
Chip.
What do we want to deal with here? Do we want to do the nerd stuff? Do we want to do a little military stuff? What's your flavor?
Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
So military. Okay. So
Feels right.
this is 2 questions here. First one being, if you could go back and get a do-over. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce our submitter here. This is GI Buns with a Z. I like it. I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Buns. Appreciate it. Let's see. If you could go back and get a do-over on your military career, what would you change? Would it be a different MOS? Would you try to make it a full career? That's an easy answer for me. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So when I originally joined the military, I signed on as active duty to be an Apache mechanic, to eventually fly Apaches, and then my parents talked me out of that and to go reserve and to be an automated logistics specialist. That's basically working in a warehouse.
That's supply. Yes.
Yeah. And I would absolutely wish I could go back in time and punch myself in the face and be like, you're going to go be an Apache mechanic, because the idea was to be an Apache pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
That's sweet.
that's my do-over there.
Yeah. I get that. I would have loved to have been a pilot too, but I'm way too stupid for that. So no, it's an easy one for me. I would have retired. I always thought I was going to retire, make a career of it, and wasn't in the cards for what life had in store for me. I can't complain. I won the wife lottery and got some excellent kids out of the deal too. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't complain.
Way better than you deserve. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Outkicked your coverage.
Definitely
Yeah.
by a mile. So yeah, is what it is. But that's one thing that kind of always thought I would live that life, and I didn't. So
yeah, I mean, I've had many conversations with my wife, and you know, we always talk about like what would happen if you met me then or earlier and everything, and like you would have hated me. I'm not the same person that I am back then. But I'm glad that I made the decisions that I did because it ultimately led me to her.
There you go.
And she's the greatest thing that ever happened in my life.
Preach.
Mine's my child.
There you go. If you could get a free pass and never get in trouble for it, which member of your unit would you like to punch as hard as you can right in the dick? And what did that person do to deserve it? Are we gonna? We're gonna opt out.
I think we're gonna have to pass on that.
The
one.
answer is of fucking
Yes.
course.
Yes.
Yes.
Hands down.
Big yes. Big
And
yes.
then to answer the follow-up, I plead the fifth
Yeah.
No, thank you.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6.
for the safety of everyone involved here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just some of you know too much.
Y'all motherfuckers be snitching.
Yeah. It was really a great question.
Yeah.
Brought up some good memories.
So wish we could dive into that further, but
Good memories of rage.
unfortunately,
All right, what
Yeah.
do we got next?
but big shout out to GI Buns. Thanks, Buns. Really appreciate that one. That was good.
Our recently married good
Oh,
buddy.
yes. Yes,
Congrats
yes.
to him. I don't know if he wants me to put his name on.
I think
on
we'll
here,
call him
so-
Jason Bourne. How about that?
Yeah, I like that.
Is that good? Okay.
I like that. Jesus Christ.
God, it's
Jason Bourne.
Jason
And he asked, what is your favorite movie poster?
Oh, damn.
This is an interesting
That's tough,
an interesting
man.
question. I'm gonna have to Google some just
I know.
to really get a visual here.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
The easy answer is the OG Star Wars for A New Hope. That one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So that one's great. But I'm gonna throw out there Full Metal Jacket. It's,
yeah, with the helmet.
all white
Yeah.
background, just has the helmet, the peace symbol, and Born to Kill on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then below it, it said, "The wind in Vietnam doesn't blow. It sucks." So
Nice.
I used to have that poster on my wall when I was in college. I love that movie.
Oh man.
I'd go with Jaws.
Yeah, that's a great one. I have an Aussie.
absolute classic.
I have an Aussie T-shirts that's the same poster, but it's Aussie coming out of the water instead of the shark. So
It's pretty good.
I like
Totally
that.
unrelated,
I like
but-
that.
But I like it. Brings back all the terror of my youth.
As we discussed.
Yeah.
honorable mention for Jaws would be Tremors. It's the same thing.
It really
It's
is.
just-
Yeah, true.
Just with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Who we
Yeah,
are 2 degrees away from.
That's true.
I
Thank
did
you.
learn about that.
Check out
our
that.
good friend
In our Memorial Day special.
Robert
there.
Kugler.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I think one of my favorites, just the simplicity of it, is the Goodfellas. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's a good one.
Yeah, those 4 guys, black backdrop, and it invokes kind of a Queen, with their album cover that they had. I like that.
Reservoir Dogs would be another good one.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn. I think, and I mean, I'm just obviously obsessed with Batman, so generally that's going to be somewhere weaved into my answer. But the Dark Knight Joker poster.
Yes,
So there's one where he's kind of looks like he's kind of no. That there's one where it looks like he's behind frosted glass.
Yes.
And all you can see is kind of his purple silhouette, and he's writing in blood, "Why so serious?" and then drawing the smile right in line with his mouth.
That's good.
That's a really good one. Or I'm a big fan of the classic Fight Club poster where he's holding the bar of soap.
Yeah.
That's badass.
That's
Tyler Jordan.
Yeah,
Tyler
Tyler
Jordan
Durden
says make soap.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Man,
Yeah.
But
good.
either one of those are solid.
Yeah. I'm good with all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a different one, though, let us know.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
throw
Hit
out
us up on our Twitter.
Throw out some tweets on there. What
Or hit us up on our Instagram. Shoot us a picture of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
If I get enough messages, I'll put them all out there for
There you
everybody
go.
to see.
That'd be awesome. Did he have one more? You
Yes,
wanna do that one?
he's got another one that we can do here from Jesus Christ. It's Jason Bourne.
JCJB. I love it.
Here we go. If you could go back to a single moment and change something to save the DC Comics extended universe, what would it be? So this is kind of like a Flashpoint type thing,
Right.
here,
Yeah.
like we're the Flash, we're going back in time. What can we do to alter things for the better? Nothing.
Cast
It's
The Rock.
It's dead.
Not have
Oh,
Zack
it was
Snyder.
dead before then.
Yeah, not have Zack Snyder. That's mine.
I guess you could. I don't know. I think you definitely. I'm gonna steal a line from Endgame and go Rhodey and say, like, go back in time and just to baby Thanos.
Yeah.
I think maybe do that to Joss Whedon, but after
Avengers.
after he made Avengers and Firefly.
Okay.
So
But okay.
yeah. I don't know. It's such a train wreck. I don't have a good answer.
Generally, it's just real terrible. Like, there are some good things about it that I'm hesitant to say shouldn't have ever happened. Like, Henry Cavill as Superman is good, although I'm not a huge fan of Man of Steel. I love Ben Affleck as Batman, as older, drunken, broken, kind of killer, crazy Batman. I love that. I love some Dark Knight Returns vibes there. And I love the warehouse fight scene in Batman v Superman where he just wrecks shop with all those people. But I think Batman v Superman is where the problem started.
I agreed. That's when I really lost interest.
Because although I enjoy that movie, and I think this speaks to what you said, Jimmy, you could just probably eliminate Zack Snyder and it might be okay. Because there were discussions back when Bale was Batman to use that as like a launching point for an extended cinematic universe of
bring Superman in.
Yeah. So initially they wanted, which is why Nolan helped. I think he has a producer credit on Man of Steel.
Really? I guess there is that scene where they have the Wayne Enterprise
satellite.
Yeah.
So there was a thought that maybe he would be, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt would take over as Batman, or Dick Grayson, or whoever the fuck he is in those movies. But
thank God that didn't happen.
yeah, but
I mean, could it have been
So
worse than what
it's
we
either-
got?
I mean, he
It
did
would not have
great
been
in
worse.
Inception, and Inception was great.
no, I don't think that's hate on Joseph.
No, I
Gordon-Levitt.
don't think it is either.
I think
just-
it's hate on them being like, oh, by the way, he's Robin, and
yeah, that was dumb.
but.
Okay.
So I think what I'll say is, if you're not going to just outright eliminate Zack Snyder, since you gave that answer, I'll say to just rework Batman v Superman and not make it a Batman v
Terrible.
Superman movie. I mean, like, that movie is me as a comic book fan who has no idea how to write a movie and being like, oh, you know what would be cool? If we had this part from the comics in here where he's in the Dark Knight Returns suit and he beats the shit out of Superman, that's fucking cool. Oh, you know what else would be good? There's this really cool quote where Batman talks about this, and we should throw that in there. But there's no like connectivity.
doesn't move it
It's just
forward.
scene,
Yeah.
new
Then
scene,
let's
a new
make-
scene, a new scene, and
Let's
then,
make him just have emotional breakdown over hearing the word Martha.
right. Like, he's the world's greatest detective, and he knows everything about Superman, what he did, his weakness, all that. But he didn't know his
Yeah.
name was, his mom's
Yeah.
name was Martha, and that's like the the killer, whatever. That thing's been talked to death forever.
Yeah.
So, but also that movie also tries to speed run everything that Marvel did in one movie, right?
I
Because then
agree.
there's the
I
stupid
agree.
little email from Lex Luthor's
Yes.
shit where it's like, oh, here's Cyborg, and
Oh,
here's
we have
Wonder
Justice
Woman, and
League.
here's
No.
we have the Justice
Yeah.
League. Next movie, it's over. Yep. So I think if you could somehow slow it down right there, there's hope.
I think also make Batman the great detective that he is, because he got played by Lex Luthor
Yeah.
very, very easily.
Very easily
wasn't
manipulated.
it wasn't difficult at all. And I get it. There's emotion involved in there, so it might be a little easy, but like Batman's not stupid. Like
Yeah.
he knows when he's getting played.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Duncan. And it's DC trying to do too much in too short a time span.
Yep.
Marvel has had a decade and a half to
Yep.
set up these storylines, and that works because they've had a decade and a half. DC, albeit they've had the same time frame, but they're just trying to cram everything into one movie, two or even sometimes two or three.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work because you're trying to cram 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
Where Marvel succeeded was just making a good movie, and if Iron Man had failed, or if I guess studio execs hadn't wanted to go the cinematic universe route and didn't trust that process, the ending of Iron Man with Nick Fury showing up and it being Samuel L. Jackson was so minor that it could have just been like, oh yeah, that's a cool little cameo spot at the
Yeah,
end of that
neat.
movie. Good movie
Right.
anyway, and you never would have thought like that bombed the whole movie, and
Right.
it clearly wasn't the intention of the whole movie. But Batman v Superman feels like we need you to go from Man of Steel to Justice League, and we don't give a fuck what you do in the middle,
Right.
but you have to get here.
Right.
And Zack Snyder's like, well, I'm an artist and I want to do these things and I want to tell this story and I have these weird opinions about these characters, or unique opinions, I'll say, not to offend everybody, but they're weird. And and then he's kind of got to battle that studio interference too.
See, that's not the
So-
Marvel model. The Marvel model is you get super talented artists to do a good movie, like you said.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I just need you to hit this point. You do whatever else you want to do.
Which I think
And
they
we're
did
gonna get there.
especially well in the Infinity Saga.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Yeah.
think they're doing it quite as
Right.
well now. I think
And
there's a lot more interference now than we know
They're
of.
having problems that DC's traditionally have, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm concerned about the James Gunn future. They ain't gonna give him 10 years to figure it out.
No, probably not.
Like, if the first 2 or 3 don't hit, phew, I
Here's
don't
my
think he's
here's
getting
my
5
wild
years.
prediction. Blue Beetle will bomb.
Yes.
What? I didn't know who the hell Blue Beetle was till I saw the trailer, and it
And you
looks
know
cool.
what? Like we've talked about with
Yeah.
Guardians, that franchise proved, James Gunn proved, that it doesn't matter if you know who the character is necessarily, right? You can take a minor character and turn them into something really compelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything can be good, but it won't be.
No.
It won't be, because DC has not learned, and they're still using the same formula to make the same shitty movies and try and shove it down our throats. And they tried to convince us that they had changed with the Flash and that this was going to be some grandiose, perfect jumping off point and reboot, and without getting into a whole bunch of stuff, it's not.
No.
And that makes me really nervous for, like you said, for James Gunn going forward.
Yeah.
He has a lot on his plate. I love him,
Yeah, I do
but
too.
he has a lot to battle, I think.
I will say, and this ties back to the original question, like, if I could go back in time and stop something, I would stop myself from going to see The Flash. Because that was money I'll never get back. And
B!
Yeah.
Don't do it!
just slapped in the
Am I
face
too
for,
early?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was atrocious. But whatever.
When it comes down to it, is DC and Marvel, they're fundamentally different, but on a foundational portion, it's both a comic book movie, right?
Right.
It's a comic book movie. However, I think that Marvel has nailed it in that it should be a light movie. You can get heavy, but it's got to end happy. You know, it's going to start off happy.
Yes, everyone
It's
wants a
going to
happy
get
ending.
heavy.
That's-
Somebody's going to die. Something silly is going to happen. There's going to be a sad moment, but it's going to end happy. DC is just, it's fucking heavy the entire time. Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree that it has to be silly, but what I will say is that for nearly 100 years of DC Comics, they've been making not every story, but like a lot of good stories, right? They have a roadmap. It's
Yeah,
the
and
fucking comic books.
They got great. They got
So
great
just
stuff. They
take
got
a
some of the
story-
best. They got Batman, Superman, two of the greatest,
Yes, most iconic
Yeah.
characters of all time.
Yeah.
Take a story that is good and well liked and make it into a movie.
Yeah.
And Marvel, now they don't do direct adaptations, but they do enough with the characters that they have.
they got the bones
with
there,
the bones that they have established, and they make like Civil War's a good example. That is not what happens in the comics.
It's not even close.
But they do what they do. The heart of it is the same. We pit these characters who we love against each other, who loved each other, who were brothers against each other, and let it play out. And that's what happens in the book. But
It's kind of understating too that the cast with Marvel had such great chemistry.
that's true.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah, they really
And
do. Yeah.
Do we know if the DC did? We don't, because the movies were so bad that you couldn't really tell
Yeah.
if they. Yeah, whatever. But that's a great question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we could go on for a long
Did
time.
you have
about
anything?
DC?
Oh,
versus
no.
A
Marvel.
point, a specific point.
I think DC. I think you're right. DC is trying to do everything quickly. They're trying to make up for lost time because it's a money grab.
Yeah.
They saw how much money was generated off of what Marvel did, and they did it well. They're playing catch up. The downside is Marvel's current phase and recent phase has been so atrocious. I think if DC plays it right, Marvel is on kind of a downward slope right now.
I
DC
think we
could
all agree with
capitalize
that.
on that.
Could, yep.
If they get their stories right.
but
And they should. They really should.
But
yeah.
that's the thing is they have to do it really carefully, because if Marvel's stock is decreasing and their content just isn't what it used to be, they have to capitalize on that, and they have to do it quickly, and they can't really afford to do it too quickly
Right.
because then they blow the
Yes,
stories.
there is a fine line to walk there.
they're both working against each other too. The more both sides put out crap,
They are.
in the last month, I've heard more people tell me I'm kind of over the superhero thing
yeah, it's
than
it's
I have
exhausting.
since it started. So
It's exhausting because I agree you can take a minor character that nobody knows and turn it into something that's huge. But once you start really digging into minor after minor after minor character,
Yeah.
you lose so much of the audience because people want something that's familiar, that's going to bring
Right.
them in. They want that feeling of maybe I'm not a frequent reader, but I
Right.
know that character and I remember I enjoyed that, so I want to go see that.
And you still need that for general audience
Right.
appeal. Like, not everybody's nerds who want to record a podcast about this shit and know way too much
true.
about it. Like, there are people that just aren't aware of all of the politics and weirdness of Hollywood, and they just like, oh, that looks like a cool movie, or oh, I know Superman.
Like,
I'll go
yeah,
see that.
That's what the appeal of Iron Man was. When Iron
Right.
Man first came out, I was like, "Oh shit, it's an Iron Man movie."
Yeah.
That's-
And Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
kind of
yes,
making a
yeah,
comeback.
yeah,
So,
his
And he's
redemption arc,
perfect
yeah.
for Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's
Like,
fucking amazing. Yeah,
great. But like, even if you went Moon Knight, which one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite shows that they actually
Yeah,
put out.
it's great.
That was a risk because he's not a major character. Every time they've had runs of Moon Knight, they've been relatively
Yes.
short because it's a weird character.
Right.
He doesn't fit. And when they do actually get him into stuff, he's always ultra violent and kind of chaotic, and they get rid of him fairly quickly. They were able to make something that worked really well, but that wasn't like their top seller.
no.
And that's still a fairly niche audience that's going for that, and you have to have a lot more knowledge.
And it
on
would
that
have
one.
been a complete bomb had they not had the
Oscar
groundwork.
Isaac,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Well, that too, yes.
Yeah.
But-
That's the thing is you start grabbing some of these kind of periphery characters, you're losing so much of your base audience.
you know what
Yeah,
I
you
think
have
would-
to build the trust before you
Yeah.
can
Right.
have them do that. If you keep promising and then breaking those promises like DC has, nobody's going to want to keep coming to, especially a fucking Blue Beetle movie.
Right.
Like, I like Blue Beetle in the comics. Not necessarily Jamie Reyes. I haven't read a lot of his, but like Ted Kord Blue Beetle, who was the second Blue Beetle or something like that, maybe the third. But like, I like that character, and I think it could be a good character, but I don't fucking care, and I'm a huge DC nerd.
Right.
And it's just like, well, you've burned me too many times.
Yeah. I think I would like to see, and I know nothing about making movies, but I think to freshen up this genre, I think they need to dip in to others, like kind of like Star Wars did with The Mandalorian. Like, let's get a horror genre. Like Werewolf by Night was great.
Phenomenal.
Take
Loved
Blade, take Ghost Rider, take Moon Knight, get the Spirits of Vengeance, like something like that, and then do something else. Like, they've been heavy in the space stuff. Let's do
we could transition to
let's
some
do
supernatural
something
stuff.
else. You know, let's make I don't know how you make a western out of that, but
now we're screwed because there's no writers to do any of that.
Exactly.
So Blade's never going to get made.
No, probably not. But
And I think my only appeal for Blue Beetle is that Mara Duena from Cobra Kai, Miguel Diaz, is going to play the character. That's my only.
Is he who plays Jaime Reyes? I've never seen him.
guess.
Yeah,
Cobra Kai, so-
he's the guy that plays Miguel
character.
Diaz.
Like, he's
yeah.
so good in Cobra Kai. Like, I
Yeah.
hope he does well. And I
Yeah.
don't wish anything negative because he's from Cobra Kai,
No,
which is
yeah,
great.
don't get me wrong.
I love it.
Although
I
this
don't
last season
want
of
the
Cobra
movie
Kai
to be
was
bad.
was terrible.
Well,
the last two seasons of Cobra Kai have been terrible. Let's be honest. But anyway,
Cobra Kai.
yeah. But I thought I feel like it would be a good transition for him to do this film.
it's a hell of a leap.
Yeah, definitely.
And if he lands it, great for him. But if he doesn't,
I'm probably not going to give it a shot just because Flash is still burning when I
if
pee,
I'm on
I
a
guess,
plane
for
and
now.
it's one of those free movies that I can
Yeah.
watch,
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
going to
Yeah.
watch it. That's how I fell into the Black Adam trap.
Yeah, when it comes to Max,
bad.
I'll watch it.
I forgot that movie existed.
You should.
You should. There's no
Yeah.
reason to really acknowledge it.
I remember all the press like leading up to it, and Rock was like, "Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
Black."
change the hierarchy of power in the
Yeah.
DC.
Then it happened,
that's
and
not
then it's
gonna
just like vanished. Like
It's because it was bad. Yeah.
Correct.
another DC movie being bad. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
And that's why The
Shock.
Rock went back to the Fast and the Furious, because he just
Yeah.
found out he
I will
can't
never
carry
go.
Yeah.
And I am going back.
Moving on. Our constant content creator for us, he writes in,
What's up, hee hee?
what is the best 90s movie of all time,
Oh Jesus!
and why is it Tombstone? Amen, brother.
Yeah, he
Because
had me-
I've been wanting to talk about westerns for a long time. I don't got a lot of support in this room for that. So I don't know if I could say it's the best 90s movie of all time, but it's damn near
not.
the
It's
top.
up there.
It's great. It's really good. It's not the best.
Think of one other movie that has more one-liners than Tombstone.
Say when.
Oh my God.
Are we cross?
Are we crying?
Oh,
I don't
I'll
think
be
I
your
could.
Huckleberry.
just so you know, that's my dream to say that to somebody at work. I gotta get that out.
I have two guns, one for each of you.
For each of you.
Yeah.
So what is the best
great.
90s?
Best 90s movie? I mean,
90s Villains was
Well,
big
yeah,
enough.
here, hold on.
That's
We
90s
have a bunch
period.
of-
Let me
Great.
cross off
Jesus.
Face Off. Damn.
Face Off is great.
Shawshank.
Shock,
Okay,
man. Yeah,
It
Shawshank
also
is a
depends on the
definitely
mood I'm
contender.
in.
I'm not a huge fan, but it's a good movie. Forrest Gump was big.
Young
I'm
Guns.
not, I don't
Young
love
Guns,
it.
2.
Yeah, Young Guns 2.
Yeah.
1 was great, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but 2.
Yeah, 2 is
We're
the
in
better
the
one.
spirit world, asshole. They can't see us.
See the size of that cock-a-doodle-doo.
Let's see. And then you got all the animated movies in that time frame. What Toy
Yeah.
Story?
So what we're getting
Toy
at
Story
is
2.
way too open-ended of a question.
Yeah.
But since you said it, we'll just say Tombstone for now until somebody comes up
It
with a
has-
better now. So
okay, I'll say Tombstone's
great.
got to be in the top 5.
it's up
Yeah.
there.
90s
Yes.
movies.
Agreed.
Might fucking top 5. I don't know, man. It's
I mean,
fucking
Dances
good.
with Wolves.
Oh,
wasn't that
Tombstone's way better than that movie.
Dances with Wolves, wasn't that?
Never
I wanna
seen
say-
Yeah, it was.
was.
Unforgiven's in there too. I love that movie.
You've never seen Dances with Wolves?
I have
The
not.
source
It's-
material for
Oh.
Avatar.
I've never
real.
source
For
material
real.
so
for
never
Avatar.
mind. I have seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen Avatar, but
I like the movie. It's super boring. It's
that's what everyone always says.
It's not.
It is so slow.
It's like going back and rewatching Revenge of the Sith, and then having like an understanding of why the political plays a role into everything. Why that
Yes, 'cause
conversation
I want
with
to understand more politics. is
with
what-
Palpatine and Anakin about talking about Darth Plagueis. Why that is such an important conversation. How it plays into the entirety of Star Wars.
Yeah, but there's lightsabers and shit, so it's way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great
Padme's
question.
hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man,
Kevin
still,
Costner's not that hot.
No.
I mean, 93 Kevin Costner maybe or whatever that came out. I don't
Talking
know.
like Waterworld Kevin Costner?
Fuck yeah.
Oh
God.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Waterworld definitely up there for top '90s movie.
yeah.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right, I'm
Top
leaving.
movie that sucked.
Nope, that's the new opinion. We're that's going on our
Yeah,
that's
go-
going on our social media.
I throw Clerks in there.
Top movie.
I sip Chris, you sip piss.
My favorite scene of that movie though is the dude that's down in the oil and that flare comes down. He's like, "Oh, thank God," because yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Wow, we went.
That's
from
a good question, Hee.
We're
That's
from
way too hard.
debating
I
the
say.
best to
Yeah, we
I'll throw,
Waterworld.
I'll throw Clerks in there. It's
Fucking
probably
love Clerks.
It's probably a
God,
top 5.
Yeah,
so
Clerks.
good. I can't watch that movie anymore because the age that they were in that movie, and like I'm so much older.
And now, yeah.
It sucks.
You got Phantom Menace rolled in there. It's
Pulp Fiction was in there.
Definitely
Pulp
bottom
Fiction-
5.
Yeah,
that one.
Pulp Fiction,
yeah.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, as we've already discussed, a lot of really good
Was
movies.
Saving Private Ryan? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Yep.
shit.
Should have been.
Yeah, because I went
Yeah.
and saw that the day after I graduated from boot camp. So yeah,
Jeez.
yep. Yeah, that's a great question. If you're suggesting we should do a westerns podcast, then
I think
by
a Westerns
all means.
podcast would be great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
There's a
agree.
lot to
maybe
work
top westerns. That okay.
As long as with the Westerns,
That was my
as long as
whole
with the
idea.
Westerns, I think if you just don't put a year
Yeah,
range on
just
it,
westerns.
Yeah,
It
a
opens
whole
it up.
decade of movies is tough to call that top. It's up there.
It's up there.
it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his next question was okay. He believes that the 90s were the start of the comic book movie movement, obviously with the Batman franchise. It was 89, but, semantics.
Fine.
Which I am aware is not the first time a comic movie was made, but I think that was the start of the big push. Why are other early comic book related series, I think that's supposed to be, what are other early comic book related series do you think helped push comic movies to the forefront of cinema, but I think pop culture too? I think X-Men was huge. The first Spider-Man, those two were like I think
it
the
was
biggest
X-Men.
kickoffs.
I think it was X-Men. Because prior to that, you had such hits as Tank Girl,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was amazingly awful.
Yeah.
I don't think many people know that's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
So
Right. But you also had, was the black and white? Sin City.
Yeah. That was a little bit later, though.
That was like 2003.
yeah, that's pretty late.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of
But
people say
that-
Blade is a good starting
Blade
point
is
for-
also, that was also 98. So, that was before Spider-Man and X-Men. So, because Spider-Man was after 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause the
X-Men,
Twin Towers
X-Men
were
was,
in there,
X-Men
and
was
they had to edit
99,
it out, yeah.
2000.
So we're saying Blade then?
I think it might be. I don't think it was Blade was responsible for it. I think after that,
No, but I think the original Blade is a solid.
it is a great movie.
Yeah, because
I loved it.
it was more of a proof of concept. Hey, people like comic books. Let's make a movie
Yeah.
about one.
I don't know
Somehow
if
they
it was
took
that.
a minor character
Yeah.
Yeah.
and actually
and just totally changed him. Like that's not who Blade
No.
is in the comic.
For the
No,
most part,
I
they
think
did
It is
change
I
now.
think Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes was
Well, it's like Nick Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick Fury was an old white dude.
Yeah.
well, until they did
Who
the Ultimates,
slayed
and then
so
they designed him after Samuel
Fury.
Jackson.
Yeah.
So
He's like, why is my face in this comic book?
yeah,
Yeah.
but
We've got this idea for 20
no,
years.
I think Blade came around because Wesley Snipes was looking for a portal to demonstrate his MMA badassery.
But he
and
also
then
worked
found
for
that.
a really long time to make a Black
He
Panther
wanted to be
movie.
Black Panther, yeah.
And try and get that off the ground.
And I don't
it just
remember
never worked
why.
out. I don't think any studios really wanted
Just
to go
no interest.
go ahead with it. But he for the longest time was trying to get a
But yeah,
Black Panther movie.
Wow.
I
we
can't
could
think
go. We could go back to even further. Beginning of 90s, 1990, TMNT.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think there was a big gap before it really took off because the two movies had some good
I think it was
theatrical
still
success,
playing
but
to
then
kids at that
they
point.
went right into the straight to VHS shortly after. So
I think it was still focusing more on the younger audience.
Yeah.
And that pivot came.
yeah,
I would say Blade
I think
and
you got to
X-Men somewhere in
give
there.
probably Marvel, the MCU has to give credit to Batman Begins. Because that movie the last Batman movie we had prior to that was George Clooney. And
Yeah.
like, I remember it felt like going back to that, people kind of forgot about Batman because that was like, didn't seem like there was a lot of hype for that movie. But then when it came out, everybody freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And then boom, comic books are back. And that's when
True. Yeah.
Marvel's
2005.
Marvel's
is when that
3
came out,
years
so-
behind with or was that 2009? Yeah, it was 2008, wasn't it? That Iron Man.
Iron
Yeah.
Man was 08. So
yeah.
Let's see some other top 90s comic books. We had Spawn. Or,
That,
Oh,
did not,
that was
that was
so
not
awful.
responsible
That
for
probably
anything.
yeah.
Now the
Telltale
animated
movies.
the animated
You know, it's
series
the
was
series.
really good.
Spawn. We had The Crow.
Oh shit!
I don't
did
think that
love
was
The
responsible
Crow.
for it, but I fucking love that
I
movie.
love The Crow, but I don't think a lot of the
R.I.P.
general
Brandon Lee.
public, knew that was a comic book movie either.
Judge Dredd.
Stallone Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Stallone.
And
Yeah.
then Dick Tracy of other.
Oh shit! I remember going to that on the opening night too. That movie was terrible.
Is that Warren Beatty?
It was Warren Beatty,
Oh,
Madonna.
Jesus.
Warren Beatty still owns all the rights to Dick
Yeah.
Tracy. And like in order to maintain them, most recently, he made some weird Zoom Dick Tracy appearance.
Wasn't it like a YouTube video?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. And he's in it for like 5 minutes or some shit
He's
like that. And it's the
interrogating
weirdest
somebody
fucking
or
thing ever,
something,
apparently.
yeah.
I've never watched it, but
Yeah, I heard about that too. It's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah, but those were other 90s comic book movies. But I think the general consensus is definitely Blade is the jumping off point.
I've heard Kevin Feige say that he thinks so. Apparently, two of the most influential movies for Kevin Feige and how he does superhero movies or how Marvel approaches them is I think it's Superman 2. It's one of those. It's one of the Christopher Reeve Supermans. I'm pretty sure it's number 2. And then also Batman and Robin, because that's an example of what not to do.
do it. Yeah.
So he said, I think he's been quoted as saying that Batman and Robin is the most important comic book movie ever made because it showed people like we shouldn't do this way.
Yeah. That how we recovered from that is pretty incredible.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yeah.
It's a good question. Like
great question. Thanks for chiming in. And as always, you can always hit us up on our socials, Instagram at Geek Vets. That's Geek Bravo November Vets on Instagram and Twitter. We got an email too, right?
Yeah, we got an email, Geek Battalion, that's spelled out, geekbattalion@gmail.com. We also have a TikTok. It's
I forgot about the TikToks.
Geek BN Vets on our TikTok there. We're all over the place. We're just like clapping Korea. We're all over. Yeah.
We do also have a Facebook. So
I didn't know that.
if you're
Cool.
if you're of the generation of my co-hosts and you want to be on Facebook,
Yeah.
then go for it.
You know what? That's fair.
Find us there.
I gotta hit up Marketplace and see if I can get some cool shit.
Yeah.
Geek Battalion Vets all spelt out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget about our merch. We're on the threadless.com.
Yep, that's geekbattalionvets.threadless.com.
Yeah.
We got some Spider-Verse inspired stuff most
baby.
recently.
Yeah.
Like I said,
4th of July stuff coming out,
There
maybe?
might be a 4th of July drop in the works.
special.
So
Crocdicks. Is that a
And crocdicks.com.
Crocdicks happening? Where's that one?
I
Yeah.
could just get you a shirt.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, crocdicks.com for our patrons.
Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna have our next episode will be the America celebration, the 4th of July
we're gonna do some sort of
extravaganza.
4th of July episode.
It'll be spangly for all
It's going
of
to
you.
just be like 3-ish hours of firework noise. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Tune
sweet.
in. Tune
And
in.
and our dog's crying in the corner. Yeah.
Oh, what's her bucket from Deadpool? The Jubilee
Sure. Is
Yeah.
Jubilee in
yes.
Deadpool?
from X-Men. Yeah.
That was her
She's
power.
not
She shot
Deadpool.
like
No,
at
she
all.
wasn't a Deadpool, but whatever the fuck that kid's name was.
Negasonic Teenage
Yeah,
Warhead.
Megasonic
Oh,
Teenage
yeah.
Warhead. Yeah, I feel like Jubilee was the inspiration off that one.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think
Yeah.
she's an
Maybe.
actual
I don't-
comic book character, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
You're the X-Men expert, B.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I didn't understand the like. What was that had to do with anything?
just
Jubilee-
fireworks.
Jubilee's
Oh,
fireworks.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it is, and the light goes on.
Okay. Well, I would have
And-
just
and
said the animated
Isn't
series.
there
then.
another X-Men character? Doesn't Dazzler also
Yes,
shoot fireworks?
Dazzler, and she sings. She's like a pop singer
Yeah, she's
too.
a pop
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting off track, but
Yeah, that's helpful.
So tune in for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
If you have any suggestions or any ideas that you want us to tackle
Yeah.
on the podcast,
And-
give us a shout.
And if you can't get enough of that DJ horn, tell us about it. Tell us how much you love the.
Just for you.
Or
You know,
That's all I'm gonna
astute
say.
listeners will notice
Wink,
that we
wink.
went way down on that, and I only did it once
You did.
each
Yep.
time.
And that's very surprising with the amount of Fireball you're drinking tonight. So I'm very impressed with
I'm
that.
heavy in on it. All right, cool. Well, that's the mailbag.
Oh yeah, we got the safety brief.
Safety brief. Yeah.
I would like to share with everyone that while in San Diego, I did not go to Tijuana. So thank you for your
There you
advice.
go.
You didn't add to the population?
No.
Did you
I've been
subtract?
capable of that for many years now. So
Did you subtract from the
I
population?
can neither confirm nor deny.
That's what I would expect.
Nicely done.
Did you go to jail?
In San Diego?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Very specific answer.
Good work.
Very specific answer.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else? What's
I didn't go to
Yeah.
Tijuana. I went to Juarez.
Juarez? Yeah, everyone died in Juarez.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
Wrap your tool. Okay. Tony?
Teal? Yeah.
Any news in your world?
News in my world?
What-
Or
do you
anything
got for us?
you got coming up that you're going to
Yeah.
be working on or going through?
Just Pip farting on a snare drum.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna
got
work my
whole-
way through the Indiana Jones movies too.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, we
Just to
had Raiders
prepare.
playing the other night, and I wasn't like, I was hoping my kids would get sucked into it, and
Yeah,
like
they didn't?
This is, but we were
you
getting
gotta
ready
get
to
them
eat,
into.
so
I think you got to start with
Temple.
Temple because you get short round.
yeah. Middle kid loved Last Crusade,
Crusade.
so I'm gonna
Last Crusade's great. It's
I'm
just
gonna-
not Temple.
yeah, I'm gonna pretend like the fourth one didn't happen. So if they happen to find it later in life, I'm like,
You're not
"Dad."
going to watch the debut of Mutt Williams?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that was terrible.
No,
I
don't
am
wanna-
because I'm curious
I
how it
think
holds
with,
up. I've only seen it in theaters once, so
with Indiana Jones coming out on June 30th, I think this week has to be dedicated to the IJ, man.
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I did hear from our good friends over at Weekly Planet.
Those people we have zero affiliation with. We
Never
just
talk
love
to
their
us.
podcast.
Never
Not
communicate.
my friend.
Lightly
We're just
stalking.
big fans,
Yeah.
okay?
Lightly
Lightly stalking. I did hear that the gag that you were bitching about the other day about Indiana Jones in the fridge
Oh,
getting
right.
blasted out of that. that was actually a pitch for the original story for Back to the Future. Was the fridge was some
Right.
kind of time
That was
travel
yeah.
device?
I did hear
So,
that, yeah.
DeLorean, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We dodged a bullet on that one. Because if
Yeah.
you're going to go back in time, why not travel with some
Maybe
style?
maybe there wasn't a.
In a hot tub, right?
And
And
I
a
am,
hot tub.
I
There you
am
go.
going to go back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Genuinely appreciate everybody who's listened and
Absolutely.
followed. We've been looking at the metrics. It's been great. It's good to know that there's people out there that like the same stupid shit as we do and want to hear us
Yeah.
talk about it. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Spread the word if you can. Tell anybody to listen. Lie to them.
Yeah.
Just turn it on in their car and turn down the volume.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do.
Just let it play and leave the room. That'd be fine too. But yeah, check our socials. Don't forget about the veterans organizations that we have on there. If you have the ability or the chance to give them some love, please do so. We have some things coming up here before the summer ends with some. We're bringing in some guests with some other veterans organizations. So to talk about some things that they have coming up nationwide. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, just keep listening and we'll keep talking shit. So,
All right.
All right, cue that music.
Yeah. I've been Jimmy.
I still be.
I am currently Duncan.
Yeah,
Still Tony.
he's still Tony. All right.
Again.
Yeah. All right. Join the
All right.
battalion.
Yeah, see you
We'll
next
see ya.
time. Tupac lives. I have proof.